Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge, it's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And today we have a special guest. We are actually on site at Rudys in Fort Wayne. And we are here with Joe, the GM of Rudys. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on up here in Fort Wayne. If you haven't been up here, this is, in my opinion, the best cigar shop in the entire city. You definitely need to come up here and check it out. They have a really good selection, which we'll talk about all that too. But today, what are we smoking?
We are smoking the Cro-Magnon from Roma Craft. It's the cranium size. We just got these in a few weeks ago. So Roma Craft obviously has had the Cro-Magnon for a long time. They reblended it and just released it. It was kind of thing at the trade show last year. So it used to be Connecticut broadleaf. They didn't have the aging tobacco they wanted to do to keep continuing and keep the quality level up. So they switched it over to a Pennsylvania broadleaf. So
Okay.
If people remember the old Cro-Magnon and say, oh man, it's going to be worse, it's fantastic. It's really, really good. People are like, well, is it better or not? It's really, really good. It tastes, I think, a little bit stronger, in my opinion, than the old one did even. But it's great. It smokes well. The nice thing about Roma, people not familiar with the brand or not, but they do make some pretty full-bodied Nicaraguan cigars, but their price points are awesome. Where everybody in the industry is like creeping up. I feel like most of the stuff in the Roma portfolio still say almost everything's like still sub 13. And in the Volstead line, they do is all sub $10 retail, even in Indiana with our taxes and stuff like that. So it's fun to have like still that company, as you know, that is doing stuff in that great price point range and the $8 to $12 range. Whereas I feel like every cigar that comes out that's new, it's like, oh, that's a $15 cigar, that's a $16 cigar, that's an $18 cigar. Everybody's coming out with $40 cigars. So it's nice when you can bring something in. And I feel like customers a lot of time cringe because they're like, okay, tell me how much that box is going to be. And you're like, oh, no, box of 24 is like $220 or $230, whatever. They're like, oh, well, that's okay. Like that's weird because, again, everything just keeps going up and up.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it has to. Boxes cost more. UPCs cost more. Labels cost more. Everything costs more. But it's nice when you still have a company that keeps stuff at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I think a lot of times, and going into like the whiskey world of that too, is a lot of places try to keep. We always talk about lower proof whiskey, and I think a reason why a lot of places keep that lower proof whiskey is because they have to pay for different labels. So they have to find their proof point of what they're going to proof it down to, so they don't have to pay for 9 different labels because somebody else wanted it at 101 proof or whatever. So I think it's kind of this. It's got to be somewhat similar in the tobacco world of. Sure. Keeping that cost down, with wrappers and shippers and, everything in the market that plays a variable into what goes into the cost of, the final price of a cigar.
And one nice thing they do that only a couple companies do this, at least in my experience, is that on their order sheet, you got boxes and you got bundles. And obviously they're, 10, 15 bucks different or whatever, but I wish every company did that. Because as a lot of times you got your shelf talkers and stuff like that. If you could just reorder bundles and save the $10 and keep the cigars on the shelf, it's easier to refill those boxes, especially when you have your shelf talkers and your stuff already positioned out there.
Yeah.
I wish every company would do that.
Me too.
And
because I just give boxes away. I don't know what you guys do here.
No, we give them away. You burn them. They
stack up forever.
They stack up like crazy. I need to find like some artistic person locally to turn them into birdhouses or something. But there's just so many, and you can only. My kids can have 1 million at home, and my wife's like, get rid of them. There's too many cigar boxes at home. But I wish companies would do that, because there's a lot of times where you'll hear, not as much anymore, but coming out of COVID when the boom was big, a lot of companies would say, hey, we don't have boxes for it, but we have the cigars.
Well,
and I would say, then ship me, I'll figure it out. Ship me a bundle. I can take another box and print something out and put it up there and get them out for people. People don't care. And even customers, like, what are they gonna do with that box? Like a lot of customers would
Yeah.
rather just have the bundle if they could have the cigars in their hand right now. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate they do that. So across the board, bundles and boxes is like a nice thing they do.
Well, it seemed like the box shortage kind of went away for a while, but
Yep.
I'm starting to hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even the factories like even Aladino that has their own box factory are having a hard time keeping up with boxes. They're selling
Yep.
so many cigars, and that's a good thing, except for the fact that if you're not going to ship them in bundles, we got to get them somehow. So that's some brands like that. I know several other brands do a lot of the bundles as well. I would prefer that myself too. And honestly, if it can keep the price down a little bit, heck yeah, you knock a few cents off a cigar, it drops it below a dollar figure. All of a sudden, people think of it as more of a value cigar at that point too.
For sure.
And we've gotten away a little bit from the decorative bands. Like most of the Roma Craft stuff is pretty plain, right? Like it's simple. It is what it is. Like it has the name.
I will say the
It gets the point across.
Neanderthal is the most pain in the ass.
And that comes at a cost.
Now, some of them actually, most of them, if you let it burn enough, you can just slide it off
Right.
the end. But if you get that one that's tight, it's like, get your freaking knife
Or
out.
glued to the leaf, and then you rip off like
Yep.
half your wrapper.
Yep.
But like a lot of that artwork stuff and like Aladino's on there too. They have these like super intricate boxes that have artwork on them.
Yeah.
That costs money.
Mhm.
And that's passed on to the consumer. So
Yeah.
when they first started putting bands on cigars, it was just to keep your fingers from getting brown, right? Like, so now it's a statement. Now it's
Yeah.
a piece of art.
Yeah, and I obviously I love the crown head stuff. I think it's hilarious.
Yep.
Like they still do just like on the Tennessee wallets and the yellow roses, that they only do the footband.
Yeah.
So the minute you take that off, like
And it's like a silk wrap.
knows.
nobody knows what they're smoking.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. Footbands to me are just dumb. Like any of them, because just decorative. They throw it on the bottom, and it's the first thing
Yeah.
you're going to take off. And if you're at an event with people that aren't regular cigar smokers, you're going to see them try to light that up through the band half the
Right,
time. Or
yeah.
I've seen that.
Especially if it's a Drew Estate black one.
Oh, yeah.
You can hardly see it anyway.
Well, I think I've been at events where people will light up the cedar on a Fuente,
Yeah.
like cigar. Like they'll start smoking it with the cedar on. You're like, no. Like, they're like, oh, there was a guy I think it was last year, and it was like at a country club event or something like that. And he's like, this cigar tastes really weird, and he's just smoking it with the cedar on. I was like, oh my god, I'm surprised his face didn't light up. I said, no, you got to take that off. He's like, oh yeah, I thought it tasted really weird.
Tastes much better now.
That tastes much
Much
better,
better.
with that off of it.
Well, we also brought up a bottle of the Peachtree. I know you guys have had this. I don't have any new barrel picks yet, so next time I get a new one, I'll bring it in. So
Awesome.
we can share some bourbon while we're doing it too.
Sure.
Rob made a Keurig cocktail
I
over
did.
there.
So I'll let you pour however
Sure,
much
yeah,
you want.
Sure.
So they have. It's kind of cool. They have it's literally a Keurig cocktail machine here, and I'm like, that is kind of a really cool concept. Obviously, it's only for. Are we even allowed to talk about this?
Sure, yeah. So,
Okay.
So above Rudy's, and if you're here and you see me and you want to tour of it, so above Rudy's, we do have a private lounge called Maduro's, where people pay for a membership annually, and they come up here. They have like 24/7 access above it.
Okay.
Fort Wayne city limits, you couldn't have a proper cigar bar here. Like you can't smoke and serve in the same place.
Come on,
It's
Fort Wayne.
It's a Fort Wayne city ordinance. So,
Damn it.
I know. So, obviously where you guys are at, and then like in Indy, you have these grandfather laws or these laws outside of the city of Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
We can have a real cigar bar, but here we had to make this private. Then outside we have a big beer garden, but like in the wintertime, we'll enclose areas and heat it so you can still smoke out back in the winter and stay comfortable. But for year-round members, we had to kind of make this loophole, I guess. It's not a loophole because
Yeah.
it's legal, but we had to make this private lounge up here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's nice. You can fit probably about 30 people up here.
Yeah, 30's packed. I mean,
30 is
you'll
packed for
see
sure.
you'll see guys walk through today. So today will be a big soccer day down here at the shop. A lot of guys will come down and watch the Prem game, and hang out. And you'll have guys that just like Christian in the other room just come up and work down here every day. They it's like their office away from their office, so they'll bring their laptop, they'll get on the Wi-Fi, they'll get work done, have a cigar, have a coffee,
Yeah.
hang out. In the afternoon, cards might break out or something. And Thursday nights we usually play poker. So yeah, it's always something going on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like the private side of it too. We walk past the beer garden. It's a nice little area. I like sitting outside.
Yeah.
I'm from Louisville, so where you also can't smoke indoors anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're used to having to find a place outside to sit, and there's plenty of that here for sure.
I remember the first time I was down in Louisville, and I'm friends with Jeff, who owns Riverside,
Nice.
and I stopped by his place, went to Louisville. We were there for a basketball game, and then I'm looking around and I'm like, there's no place, there's no cigar bar, there's no place to smoke like
Yep.
in Louisville.
Nope.
So then we went right back across the bridge
Yeah.
and went to, winded down at Jeff's place that night.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I'm like, bourbon, cigars, cigar bar, Louisville's got to have something, and they don't. And it's just so weird. Every city, every county you go to, everybody is so different. You go to some big cities, and they're like, oh yeah, we have a cigar bar, but it's like BYOB.
Yeah.
Like Casa de Montecristo in New York City's that way. Went there, beautiful place. Go in there, have a cigar,
And bring your own alcohol.
and I see people drinking. I'm like, oh, I'd like to order a drink or whatever, and they go, oh, well, we don't serve here, but there is a liquor store like 2 doors down. You can buy any bottle from there you want, and you bring it in. We'll supply you with rocks, glasses, and ice and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, well, is there a cover on that? And they said, as long as you buy a cigar from the humidor. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy like 10.
Sold.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
okay, done. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
that's great. So, cheapest way to drink in New York City is just to buy your own bottle at a bar and drink
No
there.
doubt,
Yeah.
What was the place we went to in Destin?
Harbor.
The Harbor.
They're the same way, but
Yeah.
but they've done like a lot of places. They have a liquor store they own next door.
Okay.
Yep.
And then they have a bar, and then right next to it's a cigar shop.
Huge
So you
patio.
literally go buy a bottle, sit out there, they'll grab you a rocks glass, bring it out to you, grab your cigars, and hang out on their patio.
Yeah.
But you can't smoke inside there either. So
Another place can't smoke inside.
yeah.
I don't know if they have the same like loophole laws of having like a private area. There was just a small
There's
place.
so many
but-
different laws too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like Ohio. You can't smoke and drink in the same building.
Right.
You can have one or the other, but you can't smoke or drink. So like B&G's over there, I know you know those guys.
Yeah.
They we were just over there last Monday, and you can go in there and you can smoke inside, and you can bring whatever you want to in, but you can't sell it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that is such a stupid law.
And
It
it
makes
is-
absolutely no sense.
If you talk to people that come over from like out of the states, and you try to explain like every state is almost its own little country because the laws are so different. Like when I was
Yeah.
in South Carolina a couple summers ago, I went to like a Total Wine down there to load up for the week. We're outside Charleston for the week, and I get to this big Total Wine liquor store, whatever it is, and there's like 2 stores, and the right store is all the beer and the wine, and you have your checkout counter and your stuff there, and then the left store is all the hard liquor.
Yeah.
So if you go there and let's say you want to buy a bottle of bourbon, grab a case of beer, grab some wine, you have to go to 2 different stores because they don't sell them in the same store at their Total
crazy.
Wines down there. So
That
you have
is
to
so
literally
weird.
take the stuff out of the one, go leave it in your car, then walk into the other side and grab like a couple bottles, and then come back out. And kind of like Indiana just got the Sunday thing. They didn't sell like on Sundays. They didn't sell
Yeah.
after a certain time of the day, or they didn't start up. And so, it's mindless. And
Holy
again,
hell, we just opened up happy hour again. I'm like, the hell was
Right.
wrong with happy hour?
well, did you guys implement anything for happy hour?
Not yet.
We haven't. We
We're
haven't
getting ready
either.
to.
We
We're
haven't.
getting ready
We
to.
haven't either. Well,
So yeah, keep an eye on that here at Rudy's and us. We're looking to do some happy hour stuff. We just haven't. I honestly, I should have done it right when they pivoted, but I'm like,
the
we'll get there.
The hard thing is like some people post it, but for you guys, like people are going to come to your place when they want to come to your place, right?
Mhm.
And so if somebody's going to come in at 3:00, they're already planning on coming at 3. Are they going to rush in at 3 versus 5 because
Right.
you're doing a happy hour? No, they're going to come when they're probably going to come anyways.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
you want to lose that revenue because of the happy hour?
I know.
That's the hard thing is like you could maybe pitch it, do some combos, but they're going to show up and then they're going to see the happy hour and go, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take advantage of that. I guess I'll save $5.
yeah.
But they were going to be there that time anyways.
Right.
So you really only at places like you guys where you're a destination and people plan out their day, I'm going to go have a cigar, I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to be there anyways. I don't know if the happy hour is beneficial.
I don't know either. We're gonna give it a shot, just between like
Sure.
3 and 5, 3 and 6,
Sure.
just to see if it draws people in earlier during the day. But
I mean, you might
if
just,
it doesn't, then we'll drop it. I
you
mean,
might have people like rush into a reorder at 4:55.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they'd be like, oh, I saved this much if I order it now versus a 10
Yeah.
minutes. So if I still have half a drink, I'll be like, yeah,
Gotta-
I'll
gotta
order another
cash
one.
it out before 5.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, let me get another one.
So speaking of alcohol, so Rudy's, you guys are allowed to sell beer and wine.
Yep.
So if you do come up here and have a cigar, you can get beer and wine, and you guys really support a lot of the local craft
Yeah.
breweries.
So since we started, we only do Indiana beer and wine.
Okay.
So we just implemented a couple new Italian wines that I picked out. Like on the side, it's kind of like a monthly pick where we have like a couple Italian wines now, but all the other wine is from the state. All the beer is from the state. So
I will tell you guys, this guy can cook. My God, he is a true Italian man. He made some of the stupidest meatballs last time we were here.
We for the
So good.
again, don't come to Rudys if you're thinking you're
No,
like
you're not getting
meatball
fed
salad.
here.
But
That was an event.
if you
That was
come
an
down
event.
and you say, hey, what's going on? A lot of times if you come on Thursday, probably 30% of the time, 33% of the time, I'm cooking something for the guys up here, whether it's meatballs or soup, or we had a time. What do we do?
Now
last
again, that is for the private
Madura.
lounge members.
But again, if you see the podcast, you come down and say, I'm looking for Joe on Thursday, I'll bring you up, show you the place. If I'm cooking that night, I feed everybody. Dad, what did we do last week for food? Italian beefs. Yeah, I was kind of lazy last week, so I was lazy. Doing Italian beefs is hours different than doing meatballs.
I'm sure it's delicious.
It was good. We had a ton of it. We also had like bruschetta and some other random stuff. Oh, we had a guy bring up a bunch of pork loins, so I did like an Italian style like pork loin thing.
Oh, nice.
Potatoes. Yeah, and birthday. Yeah, last week was my birthday, so we were like we did like a 2-day Joe's birthday celebration.
Well, happy birthday, bud.
Thank you. I brought a bunch of sticks up from my personal collection, just cigars, and then I brought stuff up from the shop. I pretty much just did BOGO for 2 days. So I said, if you buy any cigar from the shop, you take one out of Joe's stash. If you buy 10, you can take 10.
Yeah.
Just as like an extra thank you for the members and the guys, and they could try some new stuff.
So your birthday, and you're giving everything away. Good job.
Yeah. That's how it worked. Yeah. But it was cool. There was guys grabbing, some really old stuff or cool stuff, or we had a few unbanded things that were either old tats from either some packs, or there was a few that were test blends from a couple of our JSK shop exclusives we did that were in there, so guys could try. And you know how it is, like you open up a big Tupperware door and you see like 20 unbanded cigars. It's been so long. You're like, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
Like, I think I know what that is, but no idea.
You smoke, you're like, oh, that was a sample someone dropped off that I didn't want.
Right. Or you'll smoke it, or you'll have a buddy smoke it. He's like, that cigar was amazing. You're like, cool.
No idea what
No idea what it was. Glad you liked it. We probably could reorder it if we remembered what it was, but we have no idea. I'm glad it was good. Good.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit here. So I know you've been at Rudys for a little while. Tell us your story of how you got in the industry, how you got here with Rudys, how long you've been with Rudys, all that.
So I think this next spring will be my 10th. Will be 10
here at Rudys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's. I remember I started around St. Patty's Day, because like the first event I ever worked was like St. Patty's Day. So I think St. Patty's Day this next year will be my 10th year at Rudys. So before Rudys, I was in IT for a long time, between Lincoln Financial and Swiss Re, and back and forth. And so I did IT for a long, long time. And Rudys had just opened up. I was back working at Lincoln Financial. They have an office just a couple blocks away. I was living downtown, and the cigar place had opened up. And I was like, I like cigars. I'll start going here. So they'd only been open less than a year. And I would sit out back here in the beer garden and have a cigar with a buddy or two and hang out. And then I was, again, living in West Central, working a 9 to 5. And I thought, oh, you know what? Like, I wasn't married yet. I thought, hey, I could like bartend on the side, get some money, and they needed bartenders. So I just applied and started working here part-time.
Yeah.
And I'd been here a few months, and Rudy had taken a liking to me, and he goes, hey, we have this trade show coming up this summer. I'd really like you to go. I think you have a good eye for the business. So, okay. So I went to my first trade show. It was in New Orleans. That'd be 9 years ago, whatever it was. And I went, and then shortly after that trade show, our current manager at the time quit. And so Rudy looked at me and he's like, hey, would you like to run the shop? And I was doing this. And so I talked to my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife. And I said, you know what? I kind of like this business. I kind of like people besides, sitting at a computer and everything. I kind of like the tobacco industry. So let's try it. So I just took a leap of faith and started running the shop. And it was bumpy and weird at first. And you figure a lot out.
Yeah.
And that was like 10 years ago. So I've ran the place
That's
since.
cool.
So it was random. And I learned a lot about cigars. At the time, I didn't know. I mean, I smoked cigars, but didn't know anything about cigars or the industry and things like that. And so you just learn as you go and you figure it out. Again, I wish I could know what I know now then. It would make things a lot easier. Building a website, setting up distribution, doing events, setting up the humor, everything. I mean, it's just like you just figure out what POS systems are good, what are not, like everything.
I'll go there.
Source of
Yeah. So that was, I guess that's kind of my story. And we've just built it, and the shop's gotten bigger and bigger every year. The website's gotten bigger the last few years, which is really, really cool. We ship all over the U.S.
Yeah.
And that's really taken off. Again, I wish we would have implemented that a few years earlier, but we didn't know. And that's been me, I guess. So, yeah.
So any of you,
Oh, yeah.
any of you guys that have been in the shop here in the last month have seen the new point of sale that's working fantastically. Lisa's still scrambling because there's still things in there that she's trying to figure out.
Sure.
But it's so user friendly. It's nice. This is the guy that actually got us onto Clover, and I'm so happy because we limped our way through Square and Heartland, and Square was okay for retail.
Sure.
Heartland was a fucking nightmare from day one.
We say that lightly.
Hope you guys are listening, because
Yeah.
but you know, Clover's been great. You know, we had a few hiccups beginning, but that's always going to happen when you're
Sure.
implementing information. But it's so easy to use, reporting everything on it. So this is the guy to think on that. And you know, the rewards program that we already had set up is working fantastic through that. So everything's been going great with that. So we're happy about
that's
it.
the thing is, like, you know, I have a few people that I know are probably gonna be opening up maybe a bar, maybe a cigar place, maybe whatever in the next year or two, things like that. And there's no like blueprint or anything. Even if you go to the industry and you talk to people, even if you go to the trade show, there's not like, oh, this is what you should do for your humidor. This is what you should do for your POS. This is what you should do for your website. There's nothing out there. And so all you can do is reach out to somebody that knows, or try to copycat somebody else, or try to figure out. And again, every city and law and state's like a little different.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a part. I've talked to some people in the industry, and maybe it would just take me like leaving this and doing that, but there almost needs to be like a consulting or a one-stop shop that the PCA sets up. I know they've tried to partner with some POS systems in the past to have at the trade show, and none of them are ideal or great in my opinion.
No.
But they don't know though either. Like the people the great people at the PCA that put on the trade show and do this stuff, they don't run a shop or work at a shop.
Right.
So they don't know. They just hear, oh, that's a POS system. We'll put a booth for them. And then the questions that you have for the people at a trade show or things like that might get answered, might not.
Right.
They're good, but it might not work for your shop. And so it really takes somebody getting there and understanding, because the POS system that works at your place might not work at so-and-so's place. It might not work here. The nice thing about Clover, it seems pretty balanced.
It does.
Where if you're just straight retail, it'll do that great. If you're the bar as well, it's great. Obviously, I know a lot of people that use it in the restaurants, so I know it works in restaurants as well.
Yep.
And there's a lot of add-ons, and they're always tweaking it. They just implemented just a few months ago. I didn't realize it, and you guys have on yours, but there was a hiccup for a year or so where the current big register you couldn't start tabs on.
Yeah.
But then they rolled it out this spring, and so now like we didn't even realize it because, you know, updates. But then we go, oh, so we had to start them on like our little register. Oh, hey, let me start a tab over here for you. But now the big one does it as well. It's great.
Yep.
It works out fantastic. Oh, swipe your card, give it right back to you.
Yep.
You got a tab. I can take drinks on my mobile or take extra drinks, just add it to your tab. It's fantastic. It does a really good job. So I'm happy it's working out for you guys. That's
great. Well, and you know, like when we were out at PCA, you saw I think there was 3 different point of sale systems out there. And if you're a retail cigar shop that has cigars for sale, anybody's point of sale will work fine.
Sure.
Because it's literally like one item in, one item out. And that's all I saw out there. Mm-hmm. There was one system was a little bit more customizable, but it was a little scary because everything you'd ask you, you'd say, oh yeah, I can make that happen. I'm like, but you haven't yet.
Yeah. It doesn't exist yet.
But you know, it seems like most of them are really geared towards a cigar shop as opposed to a place that sells liquor and does other things as well.
Well, and you have to, and Don, who we set you up with at his company, is great because there's not a ton of companies out there that do the high risk stuff anymore. Like high risk, you know, they say, you know, obviously with cigars or tobacco, it's a high risk product. So you'll run into, sure, we want to sell you a POS, but you also have to then find a banking or people that are going to run the cards and run the processing, and those might not always link up. When we built our Shopify website, I got it all set up, and I was really excited for it. I was about to launch it, and then Shopify came back the next day and said, oh, you can't process tobacco.
Yeah.
I was like, you just let me build a website. They're like, well, we won't process it, but here's 2 third parties that you'll link up. It'll be seamless through us. You have to apply through them. But again, you don't know till you know. So like, I was like, oh, okay, great. So I applied through them, got it set up. So now it works. If you go to our website, you can buy it. It's great. You don't even know that somebody else is processing it. But again, if somebody was going to get into it, they wouldn't know that either.
Right.
They're just going to see website built by Shopify.
Yeah.
And then once they get done and they've already spent days and days building a website, Shopify is going to go, whoa, no.
Can't do that.
I can't do that.
And that's a problem with a lot of the sales reps too. Some of these people that are repping these you know, register brands, POS brands, may not have been doing that for the last 5-10. So they don't even know. Like Rob said, like dude
Oh, my
sitting here
God.
promising this stuff, and like you're never gonna get it because surely the architect can do it, right? You send
Yeah.
it to your solutions guy and he's gonna make it work.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really how tobacco and alcohol works.
Enjoy live harness racing action at Harrah's Hoosier Park, Tuesday through Saturday through November 30th. First post on weeknights is 6:15 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturdays. Also enjoy the Hop Bebop concert series to go along with racing on Saturdays with local musical acts live from the Hop Outdoor Recreational Area from 7 to 10 p.m. Admission is free. Harrah's Hoosier Park, premier gaming in the heart of the Midwest.
So everybody, also, this is Rudy. This is the guy that started Rudy's here. We've been talking to Joe, and Joe's been running the shop for Rudy for, you said 10 years now?
We're trying to think backward. I think
8 maybe.
8?
Well, no, I think St. Patty's Day next year will be 10.
Okay.
Because I think it'll be St. Patty's Day will be 10. So I think I'm at 9 and change right now. We're trying to think. I mean, God, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know one of the things that Rudy's done really well is he's worked with legislation downtown to try to continue to change the tax laws in our state, which we've got that down to $1. We're not done. We're working on that still, but he's been very, very adamant on getting down there and actually talking to the legislators and trying to get the understanding of what this tobacco is compared to the other things out there. So appreciate you doing that too. So
We're meeting with one of the legislators tomorrow.
okay.
Just to touch base. He's actually my bookkeeper too, so it's a kind of a double-edged sword. But on our train ride, we've made an invitation to all the legislators to come on the Rocky Patel train. So hopefully
Okay.
we'll get a good representation there. And the thing that we're wanting to do for the industry is be able to have a temporary fine tobacco license. Right now, you cannot travel. You have to sell within the confines of your establishment.
Right.
And there's a lot of nonprofits and weddings and special events. They would love to be able to have cigars at those venues, but you can't. There's no provision. It's not
Right.
that you can or can't. There's no provision.
Right.
So we've been working with the legislature to make that a possibility, and there's such a thing as a one-day liquor license, so you can transfer your liquor license to an event like that, but
Yep.
not the tobacco. So it's a matter of getting them just to put another check box on the same form and go through some of the hoops. But that's one of the objectives that we have, as well as working on that tax from being a dollar cap to 50-cent cap.
Yeah.
Those are the two things legislation.
Well, you and I need to talk because I need to get down there and start pulling my weight with you a little bit on that too. So I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah, Rob, figure it out.
I know. I'm trying.
Well, it's weird because we were at your shop meeting with Glenn
Yep.
from the CRA,
Yep.
and
PCA.
does he work for the
Lives
PCA?
PCA.
He's a
yeah.
PCA, not
Yeah.
cigar arts maker. Okay,
Yep.
PCA. Yeah, you're right. And Rudy, there's a lighter there for you.
Oh,
And
there you go. That
what's
one's a little bit
weird
awkward.
is that I feel like we're on top of it. We've seen the cap. We're current, but I've ran into people over the last few months from even reps that have the state of Indiana that didn't realize it had come down.
Yeah.
And even people in Indiana didn't realize it had come down. And so I don't know if that's not getting out there to people or if the legislation's not out there. And I think a lot of people that just run a tobacco shop,
Right.
they've done it for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, whatever, just keep going. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. So if they're not going to the trade show, if they're not talking to local legislators, they're not keeping up on the news, they're just showing up, running the 9 to 5, running the register, they don't even know what's
Yeah.
happening. And they might not even realize the website switched over and the
Right.
tax paid is differently. Like they don't know. And it blows my mind that, especially something as prominent as the tobacco tax, something that we're paying every month and what we're bringing in, that people in the industry don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy to me.
Well, that's the thing too. You go into any of your local shops you go to, and if you're you're probably seeing every 2 or 3 months increasing prices because everyone's increasing prices almost every 3 to 6 months now.
Right.
And when you start seeing shops like in Indiana that the price hasn't increased for maybe 6 months, it's because the tax cap came down and it brought us down to a better level. Now prices are still going up because everyone's putting an increase in, but that's just cost of shipping and labor and everything they have to deal with coming into America and all that stuff too. I get the price increases, but if you do see your shop and you're like, oh man, the prices have been pretty solid for 6 months, it's probably because the cap has been put in place.
And the hard thing is, you're a big Aladino shop and you have stock of their stuff. But like, if you had bought, let's say you bought a ton of Aladino last year and you still have some of the stock, well, you paid that 24% last year. Now
Right.
the new stuff's coming $1, but like you might sell boxes in inventory.
Yeah.
We do, where we go, well, yeah, it's $1, but that box,
Yeah.
those boxes, those all came in at the 24% last year.
Yep.
And now the tricky thing in reporting that is you have to really put your thinking cap on and go, for us, when we ship stuff out of the state, we get that rebate back. So we got to sit there and think and go, what came in on the new cap, what came in on the old cap,
Right.
all that stuff. And even when you're thinking of your pricing, well, now we're at $1, but the other 80 cigars that we have
Yeah.
were the 24%. So you got to find that middle ground, or you keep everything at the old price until eventually you're through all that, or you just keep it where it's at. You got Rudy uses the word elasticity to where
Yeah.
if you're not pricing yourself out, then you probably keep it to where it's at anyways and stay
Right.
competitive. And you probably we don't get a lot of, I don't hardly have anybody complain about the price of a cigar.
No, we don't.
And
No.
And if they did, then you say, okay, well, buy it online then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's brands like you said, like the Roma Craft line or McAuliffe line. You can buy cigars sub $10, and they're great cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, if that's where your wheelhouse is or your dollar figures are, that's where you go. So
I'm surprised about the elasticity. A guy came in, not a big cigar smoker, said, but I want a good cigar, $19.
yeah,
And so he threw out a price, and well, I remember I'd never pay $19 for a cigar, and now that's kind of the a common threshold that for a good cigar, that's my price.
But we talk about all the time, like 8, 9, 10 years ago when I started working here, we didn't have $20 cigars.
Ooh.
There wasn't really anybody in the industry that was hardly doing a $20 cigar. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
When we brought in like the Byrons and the Atabays a million years ago, that was like a sticker shock, and people come in and go, oh, a $40 or a $30 this, and that was crazy, and there was nothing even close to it. And now, like we said, we probably down there have 20 cigars over $20.
Yeah.
Probably, at least.
I'm with you about that too.
And it's crazy how the industry shifted from everything was $8 to $12, and now it's just gone up, and people will still buy it.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, you never would have carried
No.
20 cigars at over $20. You never would have sold them.
No.
People would have laughed at you.
One of my favorite ones is still going to be the Tabernacle from Foundation.
yeah.
And I've been smoking that for years, and now I go to Covington actually to Party Source. Is that what it's called, Rob?
Yeah.
Over by New Riff.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what they're doing over there.
Oh, they're
But
losing money on cigars. That's what they're doing.
They're making so much money on alcohol that they don't care what they're selling their cigars for. Because
Yeah,
I'm
they
picking
sell
up a
stupid
Tabernacle Toro for, $13. I'm buying bundles of those from them.
I think ours are $13.99.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm taking some home then.
Okay. Yeah.
Most other places in the Indy area, they're 19 to 22 right now.
I know for a fact our Toros are $13.99.
I'll have to check my price.
Sold.
I know mine's a little high because I have to buy it through a broker right now.
Oh, okay.
I haven't set up an account with Foundation directly yet, but I will.
Yeah.
But then you get into like some of the Fuente stuff that's 45 to 60 or 70 now. Like it's insane. Like the way that some of this stuff has increased so greatly that 10 years ago that was still a great cigar like the Opus X, but like it wasn't $65.
Well, I do feel,
Oh, go ahead.
I do feel like the Fuente increase is like, it is really hard to keep up with every company's price increase because you get email after email after email, and so it's really just to the point where you just have to check every single invoice when it comes in because you can't trust anything, and you go, oh, I just spot checked a bunch of our Fuente stuff not a few weeks ago and went, oh, up at $1, up at $1.50, up at $1, up at $2, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I even price checked it online and went, oh yeah, this hit everybody, and so everything just went up. And so like short stories now are like $9.49,
Yeah.
$9.99 for like a short story, where that was like a six. I mean, years ago it was like a $6.50, like
Yeah.
650 cents.
Where everybody in the industry, in the retail industry, has to be aware of that inflation creep can bankrupt us, because we know when we get a price increase that we raise the price there, but everything in our inventory that we're selling below that, we have to replace it at that cost. So our
Right.
replacement cost, we don't have the cash flow to
Right.
replace the inventory we have with the higher prices. So we got to do it across the board early. And as soon as there's a price increase on our next shipment, we got to bump up this last shipment, or we won't be able to replace the cigars. And people don't realize that. You just don't think about it. And it's easy to be lazy. We've had this price sticker on our POS system, and
It
and
is.
the
It
new
is.
cigars come in, he just puts them in inventory
You're
and
like, oh,
doesn't
it's
even
only
look.
50 cents.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you realize down the road, like, oh, there's a shit ton of money we just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joe just had a thing. We were going to raise the price on our beers 50 cents, and it never happened. About 6 months we had it happen. He made the comment, well, all right, 50 cents a case of beer, that's $6. Well, when you look up for the whole year, that was about $1,800. 50
Exactly.
cents
Sure.
a beer. So
Yep.
that's following that. You got to be ahead of the game. You just
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot with, spirits and liquors and stuff, because some of these places now are starting to decrease their prices on their alcohol. And it's hard to decrease your price. It's way easier to increase your price.
Yeah.
So, because it's thinking of what you just mentioned, what do you do with that stock that you purchase at this premium price and you're trying to drop the price of a bottle by $8 to $10? It's like, it's going to sit on the shelf because the liquor stores aren't lowering the price of that.
No.
They're just charging what they had it for, and
Yeah.
then when they're out, then they're gonna start going to the new price. But people are gonna wonder why the one that's in the back is $10 cheaper than the one that's sitting up in the nice glass case. Like,
Yeah.
so it's hard to tell people that, and people don't understand that is the cost that is gonna make or break a small business. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, a small business, and again, a liquor rep has hundreds of different bourbons that you're going to buy from them, or hundreds of different beers or things like that. So them dropping the price on one certain bottle, it's not like you have a rep come in from Buffalo Trace and go, how dare you, you're devaluing our brand. They don't care. They still
No.
get the bottle. But there are a lot of cigar companies out there, and good for them, that will price protect their product. And that's what we want. We want companies that price protect, because we can't compete with Thompson, CI, whatever.
No.
And so we want companies to price protect their product. And a lot of reps will tell you, if you see somebody gouging, doing BOGO, doing whatever, report it, because we don't want our product devalued. We don't want
Yeah.
people doing buy one, get one, or selling stuff at 10% over wholesale, because that devalues what we've built in, especially for boutique companies. We don't want that.
Right.
And so I do appreciate when companies say, we are price protected, don't sell it for this, nobody's selling it for under this. You
Yeah.
can compete with everybody, because that gives us a little bit extra leverage, so we can compete online. So we can compete with somebody else. When I love Oliva, and Dwayne's a friend, but like for
Yep.
years we would hit Kevin's head over with a paddle, because I'm like, if a guy's buying a box of Milanos for $100 online, like, we can't compete with that.
Yeah.
Like, we just can't. Oh, I get a box of Milanos and a nub lighter for $100, and you go, well, great, I would buy that too. That
Yeah.
sounds like a great deal. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when you're getting it at wholesale, like, sure.
You just gotta feed your
and
family.
like Rudy says, like, I don't blame them for doing that. Like,
No.
I don't blame a guy if he loves that cigar and we're selling it for $16 and he can get a box of 10 for $100. Like,
I think I think a lot of that is the mentality, and I know you guys have it here too. But we have a very young clientele at our place, and I feel like the younger people have gotten back to understanding the value of supporting local, and they want to go to local restaurants. They want to go to some place, not the chains. They want to go to local cigar lounges, and I feel like most of them are like, I'd rather pay an extra 10, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever, for a box of cigars by buying them for you than to buy them online now.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I think that mental change is starting to happen again. And we need that for places like ours to stay open. I mean, again, you can buy them online all summer long, and then winter hits, you're like, well, shit, I don't have any place to smoke my cigars now because it's too cold outside. that's what we're here for.
Well,
So,
and
support us all year long. And we'll be able
and,
to take care
and
of
for
you.
the people that just want to have a drink and one cigar.
Yeah.
Like we all know that a box purchase for a normal
Right.
customer is a big deal. They can't spend $200 to $300 on a box all the time if they want to, but they can grab a 5-pack or one or two, and maybe they don't have a big humidor at home. And so that's most of the consumers that we see, and you see on a daily basis. They're grabbing one or two, unless it's an event. They're grabbing a few, they're grabbing a drink, and they're hanging out, and they're smoking that. And so to have a place where they can just buy one cigar and have a drink after a ball game or on a nice night, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, we love it. We get really geeked when anybody buys a box. Like, of course we do.
Well, there's been a couple of changes. One has now become more mainstream, but way we competed with those early on. Well, somebody's not going to buy a box for $100 more from me than online.
Right.
But they're in there, they'll buy a 5-pack.
Right.
They want to get a few cigars now. So
Yeah.
we started putting, way before the industry did, everything in 5-packs, and that way the local people would buy more from us
Yeah.
and be happy with the 5-packs. But now that Indiana is requiring all the large internet sales to charge the Indiana tax.
Thank you for finally doing that right.
Right.
And we have found with Padrones that when they go to Famous Smoke and they see this great price, and they still think they're buying it at that price, but when they go to check out,
Yeah.
it's when they add the tobacco tax, the sales tax, and the shipping,
Yeah.
and they realize when they see it from the bottom line, some of them don't even notice the bottom
I know.
line difference, but when they do, they compare the price and gee, they can come in here and get it for $5.
It's like
Exactly,
it's like buying something off of Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Or like an Airbnb. Like an Airbnb, you're like, oh, $130 a night for 2 nights. And
It
you get to the
is
checkout, you're like, oh
$400.
wait, it's $800 for 2 nights? It's $130 a night. That's what the checkout is. You go, oh, it's $150
It's
a
a
box.
$500
Yeah.
cleaning fee.
Yeah. That's how they sneak it in. And that's how the tax kind of it looks for people on those big websites now in Indiana, is that you go, oh yeah, it's a great deal. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Now it's not. Maybe I should go check out my brick and mortar.
So you guys did not catch that. If you're buying online, legally now they have to charge you the state taxes coming into our state. So you're buying a box at their discount or whatever they charge that, paying our taxes. You can now support your local brick and mortar, save shipping, and also keep a family business in business by doing that. And honestly, either save money or break even.
Well,
Yeah.
and then come
And I
out.
know you guys do a lot online.
We do.
and same way. You guys buy online at Rudys online, and I mean it's a good way to do
Or,
that.
or come down at your local event. Like people go, well, if the box is the same or it's a little more, but I come down on an event night,
Yeah.
and the company has swag, freebies, buy 3 get 1, all that other stuff. Like, if you don't need that box right now, and you see at your local place there's an event coming up, buy at the event, because if you're paying a little bit more, but you get a lighter and 5 free or something like that, like
Right.
that's great.
Everybody that buys online has dealt with the quality control issue.
Oh yeah, always.
But when that cigar is shipped so many different times, that transition affects that cigar when you receive it. And many of the times, the big companies are getting the leftovers. Just what's
Yes.
left on the shelf, they need to get rid of it, moving. So you're seeing this brand and you're getting excited about it, but it's basically they're not successful runs of cigars
they're
that they're
seconds.
getting.
Yeah.
Well, we have people
Yep.
message the shop all the time. So like, if you actually message rudyshop.com and there's a little chat with us thing, it actually goes to my phone. So like I chat with customers all the time, but we had somebody the other day wanting to buy a box, and I can see in their cart what they're grabbing or whatever. And they said, well, I want to buy a box of this. Like, how have they been stored? And I said, they're in our humidor? Like they're at our shop. They're like, oh, so these are good quality, these are fresh. I was like, yeah, I'm literally grabbing it off the shelf to put it in a box and ship it to you. Like it's in a humidor. Like we take care of our stuff. Like it's not at some warehouse somewhere, who knows where. Like these are literally coming out of our humidor to you. So yes, they're taken care of. Like,
Yeah.
we smoke these every day. How's your Chromags, by the way?
Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana.
Oh, this is fantastic.
I was gonna go to that. I feel like I've had the old Cro-Magnons.
Yeah.
And I do feel like this has a little bit more strength, a little bit more body on it. It's definitely deeper and darker on the flavor notes. I like this a lot.
It's a little creamy, almost chocolatey with the peach treat. It's really good. It's really good mixture
Nice. Probably
between
should do
both
that,
of them.
huh?
Yeah, you're over here
Do you want
drinking
some
your
bourbon?
mocktail.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, no
And
problem.
again, this is the cranium size, which is kind of like a Toro, I guess we'd call it. Again, love Roma Craft. Skip if you see this. Sorry, but like they do have crazy names for all their sizes. So thank God everything's UPC now. But I think right now at the shop we have the cranium, we have the knuckle dragger, and the mandible. The mandible is kind of like a nub size. You'd call it like a 4x60.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the knuckle dragger is like a skinnier nub on that. So great sizes. That's all the 3 we have in right now from them. They're on the website. The craniums are on the website. We just got a shipment from them. But we love Skip. We love Mike.
Yeah.
All the guys at Roma Craft. Mike came up and did a couple events with us last year. And we love doing stuff with them. Again, there's not a lot of shops not a ton of shops in the Midwest that carry Roma
There's
Craft.
not, no.
And they've been a staple for us, and a lot of our customers, a lot of our members really enjoy their cigars, and I really enjoy their cigars.
Well, and speaking of staples for you guys, I know you guys are, at least in the state, if not the Midwest, you sell the most Tatiana. Or I'm sorry, Tatuaje. My God,
no, you're
my
good.
God,
You're good.
Tatuaje.
We started
So-
drinking at 11.
You're
so.
good.
I did, yes, I did. Yeah.
No, it was actually, it was funny. I was on a Facebook group the other day, and there was a guy that I think I posted a picture of a Tatuaje, and a guy commented back and was like, well, how is this similar to like the Groovy Blue? Because he thought it was Tatiana as well. And then luckily I didn't have to, but the other person commented and said,
I don't even have Tatiana. I don't know what the hell I came up with.
but
I'm
somebody
sorry.
else commented back and said, no, it's Tatuaje. They actually spell like Tatuaje out. It was like different companies, Tatiana, Tatuaje. And so, yes, it's awesome. And then Fill It Up down in Chicago, and then Precasa in Ann Arbor. Those are probably the 3 biggest. And then you do have, they just changed the name, but Tony's place over at, it used to be called Havana House near Akron. He sold it. I forget the name of the new company, but those are probably the 4 biggest tat shops in the Midwest. We sell a lot online, so if you're ever looking for tat, we have like the Kahonu books out there right now. I think I have like 2 of those left with a limited edition Kahonu book where it's 12 Tuxlas and 12 Corojos.
Man,
I have like
check it
2
out.
or 3 of those left. Those are awesome.
Those might be gone by the time you guys hear this.
We always get the monster releases, but yes, that's always been a big company for us, and we love Pete. Pete came up and did train with us.
Yeah.
And you hung out with Pete the night
I did,
before.
the night before, and
Yeah.
that was kind of a cool experience. So if you guys, and I want you to talk a little bit about that. So they do this training experience, and Pete Johnson came up, hung out the night before with the lounge members and all that stuff, and then actually went on this train. So tell us a little bit about the training experiences, and I know you got one coming up here soon too.
So the cigar train kind of came to fruition a couple of years ago. There's a few guys that were friends of the shop. We knew them, Kelly Litch and Chris Homco, that were the heads of this Indiana Historical Train Society. And they were doing these great rides through Indiana where you get on these renovated, restored trains, go through the countryside, wine train, fall train, whatever. And they had a couple open air cars. So they said, hey, it'd be really cool if people could smoke a cigar in these cars. So they teamed up with us, and we put cigars on a couple of these cars, and people would ride for a couple hours and have a cigar. And after doing a couple of those rides, they said, do you think there'd be an audience if we did like a whole train? Like smoking on every car on this train for a few hour ride. And we said, yeah, let's try it. So we did. The first big one we did was Eric Espinoza.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a few different ticket levels. And the train ride leaves from Pleasant Lake, Indiana, about 45 minutes north of here, goes all the way to Hillsdale, Michigan, get off at Hillsdale Brewing Company, have a great lunch, hang out for a couple hours, and then take the train ride back. And it's an all-day experience with, again, different ticket levels. Like the base ticket, you're getting the open bar and the food and a couple cigars. Then you have like a box ticket and a VIP. And so that was our first one. Eric came up, and when we pitched it to him, he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, bro, whatever. And then
So like Eric.
and then he gets there for the event.
Real train?
And he goes, oh, it's a real fucking train? I was like, yeah. Like, Eric, we talked like for months about this. Like, what do you think? He's like, I don't know. I didn't know if it was just like us selling cigars on a train car or some shit. He's like, we're gonna get on that fucking train. I was like, yeah, Eric, we're gonna ride this train. He's like, all right, bro, fuck. All right, let's go. And that was our first one, and it was great. It was awesome. He was singing karaoke on the train. He was singing like Piano Man with the piano guy. It was really cool. It was great. After that, we followed it up. We had Lee from Stolen Throne and Amanda McAuliffe came up. So we did like a McAuliffe Stolen Throne train.
Right after we did that first train ride,
Yeah.
3 weeks before the trade show in Las Vegas.
It was like 1 week.
wow.
1 week.
It was like 1 week. We did like it was like
damn.
July 1, and then like the next week was the trade show.
And
wow.
our social media blew up in our little market, but Eric posted it on his global.
Oh,
And
wow.
when we walked to Vegas, we were like celebrities. Everybody came up, you're the train guys, you're the train guys. And we had 4 owners of companies come up to us and say, I want to be on your train. And I go to the Rocky Patel booth, and I've met Rocky twice in my career. He comes up to me and grabs my hand. He says, look me in the eye. I'm looking him in the eye. I'm looking you in the eye. And next year, I'll be on your train. And I said, okay. He says, let me introduce you to your Indiana rep. So he puts his arm around me and takes me, introduces me to Jeff.
Yeah.
And we met for the first time with Rocky introducing us. And he's followed through. Pete Johnson wanted to be on the.
Yep.
Yep.
And now we have Nick Perdomo is wanting to be
Perdomo,
on,
yeah.
and we're getting
Well,
a
could be.
number of other.
Could be. Yeah. So we are planning our plan right now is to do 2 big ones a year, spring and fall, like we're doing this year.
Yep.
We did Tat in the spring. October 12th, we're doing the Rocky Patel train, so tickets are on sale on rudyshop.com.
You still have tickets available.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
almost out of VIPs, actually. We had a VIP
Okay.
come through last night. If you look at the VIP ticket, you get this gorgeous Rocky Patel travel case with the rocks. Have you guys seen those?
I have
No.
not.
You'll have to try to attach a picture to the video or whatever, but it's this like gorgeous, it looks like an old like briefcase. And it opens up and it's got rocks glasses, a place for a bottle, and it holds cigars, has a cutter lighter in it. It's this party case. It's awesome.
Cool sell.
Yeah, we need
And-
that.
Yeah.
And so we had some for an event years ago for like a Rocky event. Probably last year we had a few of them. But the VIPs get that. They get a box of New Gold Label and they get a box of 60. And I think
And a bottle of bourbon.
and a bottle of bourbon or scotch. So again, the retail
Wow.
the retail value is like over $1,100 for that VIP, but it's on sale for $750. So for
That's
$750,
crazy.
you're getting, and you get 10 cigars in the case. You're getting 50 cigars, cutter lighter, bottle, rocks glasses, all that stuff for the
Does
travel
that
case.
include your ticket?
And
on the
includes the
train?
open bar and the food, all that stuff.
Wow.
So there's only maybe
That's a hell of a deal.
5 VIPs left, but even the middle ticket at $375, you're getting a box of Dark Star, a 5-pack of cutter lighter, the lunch, all that on the open bar, and then you have the base ticket where you're still getting a Humi pack and all that stuff. This is enough to touch foot, but that's what
Yeah, we'll get the photo
that's
from
what
you
the
and put it
travel
up there.
case looks like.
Oh, badass.
What-
That's cool.
And one of our
Dude, that's crazy.
one
I
of
love
our
that.
members up here was so enthused with the first train, he wanted to get involved in it. And he helped out and bought 2 Barnum and Bailey circus train cars that carried elephants.
No shit.
So
Oh,
they're
wow.
big cars. There's about 6 fans going down to keep
Yes,
the
I'll play
elephants cooled down, and then they had higher metal content to handle the weight and an extra axle. So those cars are just solid.
Yeah.
And he's restored those and made them into beautiful
This is-
modern. One is a cigar lounge with leather chairs like we're sitting in, and a
Looks like a
bar.
cigar
It's got a
lounge, doesn't it?
handicapped bathroom. And
Oh my God.
it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
insane.
So that's the VIP car.
That's
it can
very
only
That's
cool.
another
it holds
picture.
28 people.
Is that on
Then the
this
second
train?
car he
Yeah.
made into
I'll
a
have 2
lounge
instead.
car
Damn.
that's got it's all modern again, but it's
That's
got
a train car.
tables and chairs, and that can hold 40 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So on our VIPs will be sitting in the cigar lounge car.
That's cool.
And then attached to that is a first class car. That's the other restored car that's more tables and chairs type of environment. And so that holds 40. So those 65 people will be an outstanding, very smoothing ride car that are
And-
an experience just to be in those.
And if you
well,
look, and
and
if you
send
look,
us those pictures because
Yeah, I'll
throw 'em
put
up
it in
there.
there.
yeah. So if you they're out there. So if you go look
Okay.
at our tickets on our website and you look at the VIP ticket, like they're all out there. But I can
What
also
is
say,
the website?
So rudyshop.com.
Okay.
It's rudyshop.com. Right when you go to rudyshop.com, at the top it says buy Rocky Patel train tickets here. You can click it, and it's
You
got the
gotta
pic-
check this out because
We'll have a
I mean it's
QR
like going
code.
to a high end cigar lounge on a train.
yeah.
I mean that's pretty awesome.
It is-
October 12th.
October 12th. Again, if you guys want to do a traveling a podcast for the day,
Dude.
go be on the train. But
That could be
it's
fun.
It's really cool that Rocky's doing it.
What'd you do?
No, it's still going. It said lost, but I don't see the screen, so
Rob
it's still
lost.
recording.
Rob lost his
Nope,
sobriety.
I'm good. I'm good.
It's really cool that Rocky's doing it. It's pretty awesome that we've had these owners of companies on. I think we are looking to have like a Perdomo train next year with Nick Perdomo. We're also looking at another train for the spring that we'll hopefully announce after this train. But right now, you can still buy tickets for the Rocky Patel train. It's going to be a great day.
Gosh, I may have to come up there and do that.
All right, so if
October
we
12th.
were to join you on October 12th,
He wants to be the media team for your.
I'm saying if our crew could come up and be a part of that, we could just take a couple of the handhelds and we just do a live podcast from the train.
Yeah, interview people, interview Rocky, be on the train. It's great because, again, it's got about 2.5 hours up to Hillsdale, so you got time to have a cigar or two, have some drinks, have some hors d'oeuvres, and then we have a full lunch in Michigan, hang out for a couple hours, and then you take the ride back. So you leave at like 11, you get back at like 6. And
That's perfect.
It's about 40 minutes north of here. We have people buying tickets right now. We've had Florida, New York, a lot of Ohio, a lot of Michigan, Indianapolis. People from all over the country are going to be flying in for the Rocky Patel train.
And we're 2 months out, and we've already hit $20,000 in free sales of tickets.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
it's going to be very, very popular. But
Yeah.
the first class and the VIPs are what's selling.
Yeah.
Well,
What they don't tell you is that $19,500 that goes to fuel.
Running a train is $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah.
20,000
Yeah.
isn't a lot of money. We're
Well, and you might go to the website and go, man, these are expensive tickets. But we tell people, like, on our base ticket, even on all the tickets, again, that VIP, you're getting 50 cigars in the case.
Yeah,
and the
2
all stuff.
boxes.
Like, there's not a lot of margin on stuff. Like, on our base ticket, people go, oh, $225 to whatever. And I go, yeah, like, I think on our last train, like, I told people, I was like, you realize, like, we're making like $14 on that base ticket.
Yeah.
Like, but by the time we pay the train, the staff, the food, the booze, the cigars, everything included,
You're barely breaking even.
right. And so
Yeah.
we're trying to keep these as down.
We're celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, you're exactly right. That's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is when you do these big events, you're basically doing the event to break even. You want to make money. Obviously, we all want to make money when we do big events, but a lot of times we're just trying to break even because we want to bring people out, introduce them to the lifestyle, introduce them to
It's part of building your
all
culture.
that stuff.
Right.
Because I mean, when like Tatawahe comes, when Pete was here, you buy a box, you get a chance to get this box, you get all these discounts and all these free cigars. I'm like, these guys are giving away a lot of free stuff. They're not making money by giving you away free shit.
Right.
And it's like, it really is a way to do something special with your friends or whatever else, but also realize this is not making them, 50 grand on this train trip.
No.
what we did with this particular trip is every package that you get, the VIP at $750 or the first class at $450.
I think the middle one's $375, and then you can add on for the first class at whatever $425. Something.
Okay.
But you can also buy a companion ticket
Right.
for $199.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
So you and your wife both don't have to spend $750 for the VIP.
Right.
You buy one at
Yeah,
$750 and the
Pretty
partner
much
gets
just like
for
Neo
$199.
Yeah, we just had a guy from Michigan last night buy the VIP with guests, so it was $949, but that's the VIP with a guest. So for $199, your companion can come on. They still get the food, they still get the open bar, they get the whole experience. And so, if you had a buddy and hey, we're getting 50 cigars,
Split them.
let's split them down the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty much a
25,
plate fee.
25, 25,
Yeah.
and we pay $475 a ticket. But we're both VIPs. You can do that.
That's
and
key.
and
Yeah.
so people can do that. For the past rides, we did like a single, a double, and a 4-top for people, and those were pretty popular on the Espinosa train. The Espinosa train, all the boxes were focused around the knuckle sandwich.
Yeah.
So you had your knuckle sandwich ticket, and you just picked Connecticut, Habano, Maduro.
Yeah.
And that was what and again, as you know, like with these companies you're working with, their portfolio is so big. So what do you pick? With the TAT train, we're like, we'll do blacks, La Michione, and surrogates. Like those are your box options. For the VIP, you're all getting a box of 20th and then a box of Pete's exclusive one-offs, plus ones, which were just his personal stock of these Escassos that he had. But you can't, you'll have people email and go, well, can I get a box of this? And you're like, I mean, we can't open up the whole menu.
No,
Like, it makes it way too hard to set up on the website. Then you're bringing stuff in. You got to simplify it. And so for this one, we did box price. Last year, the new release was the Dark Star. So for the box ticket, you get a box of Dark Stars, a 5-pack cutter lighter.
I haven't had the Dark Star yet.
It's really good.
I haven't either.
It's medium. It's good
You
to
got
do.
that downstairs?
Yeah.
I'll have to
Yeah,
grab
I
one.
know. I got to
before
take some Tatuajes home because we were just talking about that on the way up. It's like nobody
Yeah.
in our area sells Tatuajes.
We do have a lot. We got all the Cajones right now, all 5. If you
Yeah.
include the 2 new ones, we have Broadleaf, Habano, Sumatra, the 3 originals. And then we have the Tuxla, which is the San Andreas, and we have the Corojos. We have all 5.
So,
No, we sell-
question.
yes.
Do you have knuckle sandwich chef specials this year's?
I
left?
do. I have
All right.
2.
So I will tell you right now, if you hear this, get online and buy those things because I have people asking me crazy and I can't get more of them.
Yeah,
So
we're
I'm
not calling you
of it.
out, but we're calling you out.
Boxes
Do you?
left.
Shit, I'm out.
I
I
sold
sold
2
out and they're done
yesterday.
now.
The Warhead box, the big one?
Oh no, that's the war.
Oh, okay. You
mean-
sold the regular knuckle sandwich boxes yesterday. Yeah. We
So
do
I
have
will
like
say
2
these
Warheads,
guys
yeah.
have a lot of the like Espinosas and some of those things we have at our shop. If we're out, hit their website up because I mean shipping's not that much. Their prices are great. You can get the ones that I may be out of.
No, we do
So-
we do everything over 150 is free shipping anyway. So if
Oh.
you're grabbing a box of the Warhead, it's free shipping
free
anyways.
shipping anyway,
it's
yeah.
free shipping anyways.
Yeah.
And so throw in a 5-pack or something. I'll tell you this: if you go to the base of our website, we have this we call the mystery bag sampler, where you pick mild, medium, full, or mix,
Yeah.
and it's $40, and you get 5 cigars, and none of it's like quorums and shit.
Yeah.
It's all stuff out of the humidor that we throw together. So every day we have like a $40 sampler on the website. Of
I
just, like,
will
good
say,
stuff.
if you're in this area, I think you have some of the best sampler pack game around. I mean, honestly, that's why I'm working on doing more sample packs in my place because I saw what you guys are doing here. I'm like, I mean, it makes sense. Create a sample pack. People can try different cigars before they buy a box of them or whatever.
Sure.
And you guys have a really good game going
But
there.
it's weird because like that's just the thing in the last 4 years. Like for a long time, it was just a few of the big companies that were doing like the Humi packs, and now the last 4 years, everybody
Everybody's
has one
doing
now.
them now.
Like
Yep.
my father and Tad, we keep those in stock all the time. Christoph's had them for a long time, but it's weird to me the bigger companies that don't do
Yeah.
one. Like why not have a point of sale $40 or $50 sampler of 4 or 5 sticks? Like because that's an easy grab and go. It's an impulse buy
Yep.
for people, and it's great for the consumer. Like the My Father packs at $40. None of those are a sub $10 cigar.
Yeah, and Aganorsa started doing sampler
Yeah.
packs too,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, because Aganorsa supplies a lot of people with leaf, but like nobody really knows what Aganorsa is. So then,
Correct.
now they started doing these little sampler packs. Now they're getting their name out there as their own brand,
Yeah.
and now they're starting to branch out and do box sales and stuff like that for retailers. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to get like you said, just sample some things that you may not want a whole box of, but
Absolutely,
it's a good opportunity to just try new things. And
Well, it's a great gift for people too.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people will come in for Father's Day or for a birthday, things like that, and they go, "I want to buy a box," and they see what a box costs, and they go, "I don't like the guy that much. I don't want to buy a box." But
my
they go,
guy, he
but they go like, "Oh, but I'll spend $40 or $50 on a sampler. That's a good present."
Yeah.
And because again, when people come in, they go, "I want to buy a cigar for my dad. I want to buy a cigar for my brother. I want to buy a cigar for my brother-in-law. What do they like to smoke? I don't know."
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, how about a sampler? Like that they're like, yeah, great, done, easy, awesome. Like
Yeah.
that's the best gift for people to steer them to. You go, just give them a sampler. And then if they like something, I tell all of our customers, if you're buying an array of stuff, take a picture of the band. Because if you come in 2 months from now and say, well, I love this cigar, but it had a red label on it,
Yeah.
like
300 other ones.
yeah, right. So I'm like, just take a picture. You always have your phone.
Yeah.
You take a picture of the band. That way, if you come in and go, I love this cigar, we'll say, if your shop has a good tobacconists, you'll say, if you like that cigar, here's 5 other ones I think you might
Right.
enjoy. Like if you guys like the Cro-Mag, then you'll be like, okay, try a Tabernacle, try a Mi
Yeah.
Querida, try a black from Tat, try this, try that. Like, you can find that if you like this, then you might also like this cigar.
Yeah.
my other really good comparison to the Tabernacle is gonna be the Olmec. Like that's like my second.
It's a very similar blend.
Yeah, second to the
Yeah.
Tabernacle for me. Which
It's a lot
You always
smoother.
have-
It's a lot smoother.
yeah.
I think the Olmec is, yeah. We
Yeah.
have Olmecs and Axons right now. We got Tabernacles. We got I have Goliaths, both Goliaths down there right now.
Yeah,
Both both CT and regular. Yeah, we always carry a pretty good footprint. We have both the new Wisemans, the Corojo and the Maduro.
Nice.
So we have a good selection of Foundation all the time. Again, it's a sneaky company. Like everybody that knows cigars is like, Foundation's awesome.
They are.
Like they make some of the best cigars in the world. But for a lot of people that don't know a lot about cigars, they don't know the brand, and so you go, hey, just try this.
Yeah.
Guys
Yeah.
will be like, we're not a diplomat shop yet, but that's probably coming later this year. But guys will come in and say, I want.
Play that game. Sorry, well, I won't go there.
You will. But people will say, I love a T52. I like a Liga. And so for years, I'd say, if you like a Liga, just try this Tabernacle. Try this Mi Querida. Try this. And they go, wow, that's fucking awesome. And you go, yeah. Well, it's the guy that made the Liga.
Yeah.
Like, Nick Moilo made that cigar.
Exactly.
And he makes this cigar, and he uses amazing tobacco. It's a good
Well, there's a reason why you look at the Dunbarton stuff, you look at the Tabernacle stuff. It is in that same world.
Yeah.
And if you can't get Ligas, you can get those in a lot of shops.
And cheaper.
So and usually a lot cheaper, yeah.
Cheaper, and they're always
Yep.
there. I mean, if you
Yep.
go to a shop that carry, like us, we carry Dunbarton and we carry Foundation all the time.
Yep.
And guys come in, they want a Tabernacle. We always have Tabernacles. You want Mi Queridas? We always have Mi Queridas. We have both of them. We might not have every size. And you've seen the size of our humidor. It's not very big. So,
Yeah.
like, I would love to carry 4 facings of Mi Querida, but we usually stick with, like, 1
Yeah.
of each blend because it's just, you're just,
Shelf space.
So let me ask
God.
you this: so if someone came in, and I know you have your online presence, which actually probably has more than what's in your humidor right now,
right,
probably a lot more.
right.
If someone came in and said, "Hey, I don't see it in your humidor, but I need this, but it's on your website," can they come in and buy?
Yeah, always, yeah. We always
So
say,
there you go,
I
same
always
thing.
say, come in, we'll ring you up, get the price, get your name, address,
Save your shipping.
and then we'll have it in. I had a guy yesterday. He wanted a few boxes of Olivas that we didn't have at the time, but it's what we carry. And so he put his name and number down, and so he's getting some Oliva stuff that we didn't have on the shelf. He wanted a couple boxes of nubs and a box of the V Maduro Toro Especial.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll order that in for people all the time. Like if we have knuckle sandwich like Maduro Robustos on the shelf, the guy's like, I really want Toro. Well, it'll be in 4 days or whatever it is.
Right.
We can get that in.
Yeah.
No, knock on wood, it's not backbordered from Tyler. But yeah, we'll always order it in for people, get it in. We try to keep the stuff in stock all the time. I will say, actually, the website for the most part is really, really close. There's a lot of stuff in our humidor that doesn't ever see the website.
Right.
A lot of it. Like,
I was curious about that because I see
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff on your website, and then I saw your humidor, and I was like, I wonder how much.
like Goliath, I'm into our last box of those. Like, those are on the website
Yeah.
because with my luck, a guy would buy a box, then I'd contact Foundation. They're like,
No, you
we
can't.
don't have fucking Goliath.
So
Like,
do you
Right.
drop ship those, or you just keep them somewhere else here that's not in the humidor?
so we have the humidor here, and then we have down the street, we have a house,
Okay.
the Red House, we call it. We have a whole walk-in down there.
Oh, cool.
So we keep all of our back stock there.
So if there
Other
was
stuff.
something that they saw on the website that they wanted to come in and
It's-
get,
it's
you
mo-
could get it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's either
Okay.
we know we can get it from the distributor,
Okay.
or we have it down at the Red House.
Sure. That's
Like-
cool too. The Harbor did that. The one in Destin, like
Yeah.
they had a nice. I mean, hell, their humidor is huge, and they still had, their humidor is probably this size, and they still had another house that
Yeah,
housed
like
all their back stock.
the Kahonu books I was talking about.
Yeah,
Like those are at the Red
that takes.
House.
Yeah, I mean that
Those are
takes up
nice.
shelf space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
So-
and again, what am I gonna? I can't put like that book on the shelf with a price point on it because if you open it to show people, somebody's gonna grab a single out of it.
Right.
That happens every time. If you put a sampler on the shelf, like the My Father, remember the My Father selection sample had the 5 Toros with the cutter lighter?
Yeah.
I would come in on a Monday and there'd be
And
one
one
cigar out
one.
of it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it! Are you like what? Like
Yeah.
really? Like somebody? And again, the people at the register don't know. They just see a Jaime Garcia getting rang up.
Yeah.
They don't realize it came from not the box, but the sampler, and then you come in, the
Right.
sampler's missing a cigar on Monday. So I keep most of our samplers closed
Yeah.
with maybe a picture on the outside of it, or it's on the website.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it because if you put it on the shelf, somebody will come in after a ball game, after 5 beers, and they'll say, "Oh, let's take this cigar." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know. You got Rocky coming up. Do you have any other events coming up here at the actual shop?
Yeah, Rainier, the owner of HVC, is coming in next week.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing an HVC event next week here on Thursday, like to close out the month. I think we're gonna do like a Black Label event in September, maybe an Espinosa event in
Okay.
September. Still work on those details. We have a cigar dinner September 23rd at it's a martini bar There's a few blocks from here called Club Soda. There's this 4 Wayne Cigar Connoisseurs Dinner. The tickets are on sale. Not through Rudy's, but if you look at like 4 Wayne Cigar Connoisseurs, there's a dinner featuring Rocky Patel cigars just a few blocks from here.
Okay.
And
Sweet.
Heaven Hill is doing like the bourbon tasting that night. So we're doing like a Heaven Hill tasting, like a 5-course meal.
Good.
You get like 6 Rocky Patel cigars, and the ticket's like $165.
Yeah, we're
not
huge
bad.
fans of
Yeah.
Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Heaven Hill is actually sponsoring the lounge now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're getting like Heaven Hill, Rocky cigars, a dinner for like $165 on the
Good.
23rd, and then the Big Rocky train. And then like, in the middle of all that, we're not sure on the date yet, but then we'll be dropping the Espinosa cigar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell
the
us
lounge
about
cigar.
that one.
Yeah.
So that's been a
I'm
project.
excited about that.
Rudy, how long has that been a project for?
They've been 2.5 years.
Damn it.
So
I'm going to start talking to Hector here in another month. I'm like, 2.5 years later, I'll get mine.
yeah, it's been like a 2.5-year project. We started this because we wanted to celebrate our 10th anniversary. We just hit 11 years, but it's the Rudy's 10th anniversary cigar. Made at AJ's factory through Espinosa. The blend Hector came up with. We did a few test blends for that. Came with it medium bodied, really good. The band's awesome. We'll have to get you guys a picture of the band. I know you've seen it, but it's a play on the Tin Caps local baseball team and
Hell yeah.
Rudy's face on it. So we're supposed to be seeing those cigars. Oh, there's Nate. We're supposed to be seeing those cigars in September, and then dropping them a few weeks after that. So we're hoping for a release date in late September, October, some time frame. So hopefully it's not like too close to the Rocky train, so we don't hit everybody with like all the good shit at once. But we'll try to space that out. So yeah, that should be 10-count boxes. Should be a good price point. I'm not sure that the final price on that yet. Probably gonna be in the 120 to 140 range for a 10-count box. It's a really cool project, and it's gonna be a regular production thing for us going forward. It's not gonna be like, oh, here's 100 boxes, like they're
Nice.
gone. It's gonna be a staple of the shop for years to come. So it's gonna be the Rudys Shop exclusive 10th anniversary through us.
That's gonna be awesome.
Should be cool. It's a Toro. It's a banger of a cigar.
So did you guys go get to pick out like the leaf and stuff that you wanted to use?
We kind of, what we did was we gave Hector threw him a bunch of darts at the wall and said, this is what we kind of were thinking for a blend, and he set up like.
Well, we had 3 of his best cigars that we enjoyed those blends.
Sure.
Took that blend and just added a different leaf to tweak that. So they're already tested very good smokes that were on their main line, and they just, by tweaking a few leaves, they just gave us a little uniqueness to it.
We kind of
That's
came
nice.
in and we're like,
Nice.
we're like, okay, take that Espinosa Habano, and then take that knuckle sandwich where you guys are doing. Let's get something right in the middle of those two flavor profile.
Nice.
And then they sent us up a bunch of samples of what they thought was closest. We smoked them blind. It was like labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and we both came back the next day and we're like, it's that one. That's the one.
That's awesome.
And then, they made those cigars 2 years ago, so they've been sitting at AJ's factory for 2+ years.
Wow.
Done. So when those land, those cigars have been done. We've just been waiting on bands and boxes forever. So when those land, those cigars are gonna be ready to go. Like, these cigars have been rolled and done for 2 years at AJ's factory. So
And Hector is a amazing blender. He does
Yeah.
a great job. If you guys are interested in meeting him before you see these cigars coming out September 4th, he's going to be at our lounge.
he'll be down there.
Just coming to hang out.
Oh, awesome.
It's not going to be an event. It's just going to be him stopping by to say hi and hang out, so you can meet him and see kind of the guy behind a lot of the blends of the Espinosa line. I mean,
Eric won't tell you that.
Huh?
So Eric won't tell you that.
Oh, no.
Hector's like the unsung hero of
He is
Espinosa.
the
He does
unsung
all the
hero.
work, and then Tyler gets Salesman of the Year every year, and then
Eric gets all the-
Eric's all the credit. Him and
Oh,
Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Half the people, they're like novice smokers, probably think like Guy Fieri owns Espinosa cigars at this point. Like,
I mean, he's selling a shit ton of cigars.
yes,
Yeah.
no, they are. No, they're killing it. I mean, every knuckle sandwich has been so good.
It has been, yes.
Out of the park, like so good. Like even my problem is like all the limited knuckle sandwiches that come out, as you probably know, even the Warheads this year.
Yeah.
People were like, well, how was it? I was like, I didn't fucking smoke one.
Yeah.
I sold them all. Like
Yeah.
we shipped them out. Like when we got our first big shipment of the big Warhead boxes, we had 15 pre-orders. We had 15 boxes come in.
Me too. And they were gone.
They left day
in 3
one.
days.
They left day one.
Yeah.
They left day one, and people were like, how was it? I was like, I don't know. I didn't smoke one.
Had
Hey.
good reviews.
I was like,
Yeah.
people wanted it. How's the
Yeah.
new show special? I did smoke. I smoked 2 of those. They were great.
I did smoke
They were
those.
great.
Those were
They were great
freaking
because we had we
fantastic.
had some singles on the shelf for a minute, but a lot of stuff that comes in, a lot of the LE Tat stuff that comes in
Yeah.
for us leaves same day,
Yeah.
and guys go, "Well, how was that?" And I'm like, "Well, do I want to buy the box? I just a lot of times,
Yeah.
like, I love Tat stuff,
Yeah.
but you get to that point where you go, do I want to sell it or do I want to own it?"
Right.
And a lot of limited edition stuff, I go, look, I got a lot of cigars. I like a lot of their stuff anyways. If a guy really wants it in California, then he can have the box in California.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's for the bottom line. So a lot of stuff, when people go, well, how is it? You're like, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
You're
Well-
advising people it is.
Yeah.
It's a little unique here. There's a lot of things you won't find on our shelves. You won't find an Ashton on our shelves. You will seldom will you find an Upman or a Romeo and Juliet or a Party
Upman.
insert.
Same.
And all of those that were the 25 years ago, the name brand cigars. Well, the cigar smokers today and our future cigar smokers are wanting the unique blends and the
Yeah.
boutiques, and
Yeah.
Those
so we're
allocated
we're
things.
building on that and not really wanting to come in and have the traditional stuff that everybody for years has just that's been their humor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we try, like, I mean, just because we're business people at the heart of it too, is like, for a long time, we were, no, this is what we want to smoke. This is what we have to smoke. This is what we're going to have in our shop. And we've kind of softened. So
Same here.
I go, hey, right now we have like one Romeo down
Yeah.
there. And so if a guy comes in for a Romeo or a lady comes in and goes, my husband smokes Romeos, we have one box of Romeos. We have one Cohiba, one Cohiba,
Yeah.
1 or 2 Cohibas, like this or that. And
You listen to your customers.
yeah, and you just
Yeah.
have that stuff to have it, and it still sells like everything else. But and there's been times over the years where I've taken a shot on boutique company X that I thought was a really good cigar, and it doesn't sell. And then you pull that back and you go, you know what? I guess not. Like,
Yeah.
that's got to compete against, like Rudy's brought up a million times. We have to tell a story with a lot of these boutiques. And again, I'm not trying to say anybody's company's boutique, but like, if I have to say, if a guy goes, well, I'm going to spend $20 today on 2 cigars, why should I buy these 2 over these 2? And you got to tell a story for 10 of your companies. There's going to be a few companies that get lost in the shuffle.
A
Yeah.
Warp, the Black Label,
Oh, yeah.
Dapper,
Yeah.
and all of these others. You have to tell them,
Yes. Yes.
and it's you can only talk about 1 or 2 cigars at a time, and then you've lost the customers.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yes.
And you get geeks.
Yeah.
Like, it is fun when a customer comes in and they go, oh my God, like, I love Dapper. Like, and we carry Dapper, we carry Black Label, we carry Pastagna, we carry still some boutiques. Now, again, it's less than we used to carry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, if you came into our humidor 5 years ago, you'd be like, oh my God, these guys got Chogies and Patinas. And, like,
Yeah.
and again, I love Mo, if you see this from Patina, like, I
Yeah.
love their stuff. And I love the Chogi stuff and things like that. But like, they're just these boutiques where you go, is it beneficial to have these 4 facings of Patina or to increase like 4 facings or 2 and 2 of these other 2 companies?
We're gonna sell boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing. You go to the trade show and everybody's awesome. Everybody's doing a great job and you want to
Yeah.
give business to everybody. But
You just can't.
yeah, like, your humidor is just limited.
Yeah.
It just is. Now, if you had people coming in every day asking for that, then you bring it in. But if you don't,
Yeah.
you don't. Like, you
Yeah.
put a box of Cohiba Tubos up, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
People are gonna come in and just buy Cohiba Tubos.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause-
Cohiba. I know that name.
yeah, Cohiba
Yeah.
Tubos, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. We were talking about that
Oh,
on
is
the
this
way
a Cuban?
Oh, Cuban, yeah. We had a country artist come in. I mean, God, 4 or 5 years ago. He was in a concert across the street, and he came in with his whole entourage. I don't know the guy's name. Every country artist is named like Brian Luke or some stupid shit. And and he comes in and he goes,
Shout out Luke Bryan.
That's for you, Grant.
Yeah.
That's for you, Grant.
yeah, it's always 2 first names. And he comes in and he grabs a box of Cohibas off the shelf and he looks at all of his buddies and goes, these are the real Cubans. This is the real shit right here. And I was like, Yeah, okay. And he bought the whole box for him and his entourage. I was like, I'm not gonna tell him shit.
No.
And he's gonna pass them out, and he's buying a $300 box, 10-count box or whatever, and he's happy as a clam.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't.
Everyone's like, man, best cigar I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I don't give a shit.
You know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about the Cohibas and the Romeo stuff because, like, you go to, a gas station that sells cigars, they sell Romeos. You go to a liquor store, every liquor store sells Romeos.
Yeah.
You go to casino, everybody sells Cohibas.
But
and
people
Romeos.
know Romeo.
Right. It's a
And
face
they
name.
sell,
Like, that's
yeah.
it. Like, they pick it up.
No, it is. Like, we look at it, you see the stats, and like the Googled names, the most popular names for people in cigars are Monte Cristo, Romeo and Julieta,
Yep.
Fuente, Padron, but like Romeo and Monte Cristo,
Yep.
because they also carry names over into social media. You have like movies like Romeo and Juliet,
Yep.
Count of Monte Cristo. So these carry over. They've been Cuban brands for so long, and then the outside of the outskirts of that, you have like Bolivar and things, but like people just know the name.
Right.
Yeah.
They know the name. I remember again years ago, guys like, "Hey, where are your KO cigars at?"
KO.
KOs. I was like, KO. I don't think we have any KO cigars. He's like, KO Brasilia, KO Italia. I was like, oh, CAO. I was like, oh yeah, they're right over here. But like, like you have to understand the language of the consumer sometimes too, of what they're trying to say. You go,
Olivia.
Olivia. Epsinosa.
Yep.
Epsinosa, yeah.
We had some crackhead come in the lounge one day, and he was like, "I'm a huge cigar smoker." Couldn't pronounce any name in there right. It was
bad.
Epsinosa. It was.
Padromo.
Crooks.
Padromo.
I'm guilty of mispronouncing everything.
Padromo. You're
It's
like,
okay. You're buying them. It's fine.
and you're like, Padromo. Like, do they want Padron or do they want Perdomo? Like,
Exactly.
it's a combination.
Start with Padron.
One of each.
It took me 2 years to figure out how to say Tatawa.
Yeah.
And I finally figured out tattoo.
Yes.
Wah.
Wahe.
Like I'm impressed. And hey, you're a dumbass for getting Tatawa.
Tatawahe.
I think in like Pete's mind, I say Tatawahe, and like I think like last year the trade show, like Pete told me I was even saying it wrong, and I was like, I don't give a shit, Pete. I was like, I really don't care. I was like, I'm gonna say Tatawahe. And he's like, no, and tattoo, like Huhei or something like that. And I was like, I can't retrain my brain at this point. We've carried your brand for so many years. Like, I don't really give a shit.
We Americanize everything.
Well, with Steve, we just had Lafferty here for a Dunbarton event. And so we always just say, hey, we're having a Dunbarton event. We call it Dunbarton. And Steve has been a stickler lately, and he's like, it's Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that whole thing.
And I was like, no, I'm just going to say Dunbarton or DTT. Like,
but I've also heard him in the same conversation say, oh man, when I came up with that name, I really wish I would have never done that. I'm like, well, you have it now. Either own it or move on.
Well, so Lafferty, when he was here, said the only reason they came up with that name was they had bought an old bank building locally. And so they started the LLC, and they're called Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust because they're opening up in the bank building. And then the company started, but they already had the LLC done for the name. So that's what they just kept. And that was it. And I was like, yeah, if you go back, like, again, if you talk to Nick, when he had the first Wise Man, he called it the El Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then now it's the Wise Man, which translates from El Wednesday.
Yeah.
Guys will come in, they're like, what's the cigar called? The El Guga,
oh my God.
El Googly Eyes?
No one knows how to pronounce that. Yeah.
No.
Last month we had an impromptu event that went really well. Mike Woodson was speaking in town for the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a big cigar smoker.
Yeah.
So the Boys and Girls Club said, could we bring him down and do a little event down there with some of the Indiana fans that are cigar smokers? And so we said, sure. And so he got a hold of Mike and got his favorite cigar. So we got a couple boxes of those in here, and everybody that came in and donated money to the Boys and Girls Club, they got to smoke his cigar with him at this event, and it was a home run. He had a great time.
Oh, good.
Being down here. And
what was the cigar? You remember?
Hoya de Monterey's.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Hoya guy, and he smokes a lot of Cubans, as I found out as well. And so we kind of gave him a mixed bag of some stuff to try, and he really enjoyed them. We actually became text buddies. So I actually have Mike Woodson, the coach of IU basketball's number.
That's so cool.
And I texted him and I said, hey, Mike, I'm going to send you like a 5-pack, blah, blah, blah. And he texts me back. He's like, those cigars are all bomb. I sent him some knuckle sandwiches, some tat, a couple tabernacles. And so, once again, Rudy's a Purdue guy. I'm a Michigan guy. I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
But we left that event and we both went, this guy was fucking awesome. I was like, I hope IU basketball has a good year. I really do. And I've never rooted
Don't
for
we always?
I've never rooted for IU basketball my entire life. And I was like, this guy was so genuine. He was so cool. He talked to everybody in the room, told great Bob Knight stories, and was just a really genuine guy. And he came to our place, and I was like, you know what? I really hope he succeeds. They should. They have a crazy team this year, but like he was just a really great guy, and it's fine to fund those like Brothers of Leaf because they're not everywhere. And so to find a guy that will come to the local shop, support the Boys and Girls Club, and to be here was a really cool event.
When the Boys and Girls Club started in town, Coach Knight heard about it and wanted to support a Boys and Girls Club coming to Fort Wayne. So he was at our first fundraiser.
Sweet.
And no one knew of the Boys and Girls Club. We weren't here yet.
Sure.
But they knew of Coach Knight. And it was a phenomenal fundraising event. But I had one of the original coffee mugs that we had at each table when Coach Knight spoke in '91. And so I gave Coach Woodson one of those original coffee.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
He almost teared up.
Really?
He said, this means so much you won't know that. It'll be on my desk. And then we also presented him with a white and red Rudy's jacket.
Oh, there you go.
And so he was just like he was a kid in a candy shop, and he fell in love and said, I'm going to invite you down to sit with me on the bench side and introduce you to the team. And
that's cool.
Well, did I tell you I'm a Purdue fan? We can get around that.
We can get around that.
So sometime next year, Joe and I will be
at a IU
sitting
game.
with the IU team and having a great night with IU.
That's awesome.
As long as it's not the Purdue game, I'll be okay.
Yeah, beat up on Michigan State or something.
Let that shit up on the sidelines. It'll be great.
I think the funniest story he told that night. So he was talking about how when Coach Knight coached the Olympic team.
Yeah.
And they were going to practice. Remember the story he was telling? Yeah. They go to practice at this local gymnasium, and I forget the name, but there was a guy in the team that Knight and him were having it out over playing time or something.
Wasn't it?
It might have been. There was someone on the team that he was having it out with, and so Knight was like, you know what? Stay on the fucking bus. Like, don't come to practice. And so the players stayed on the bus. So they go to the gymnasium, and there's some other team on the court still, and it's their time to practice. And they have, like, some local police officer there running security at the gymnasium, and Coach Knight's like, hey, it's our fucking time to practice. And this guy's like, hey, settle the fuck down. And Coach Knight's like, starts bumping him, gets in his face. He's like, no, this is our fucking court. This is our time to practice. It's the Olympic team, all this shit. And they get into it, and Coach Knight like shoves him back. Anyways, the cop turns around and arrests him, starts walking him out. And so there's this guy on the bus that's still sitting there. And he sees Coach Knight get walked out of the gymnasium in handcuffs. And he pokes his head on the bus and is like, what the fuck happened? And they're all like, like Woodson's like trying to run cover, like, no, don't arrest him. It's Coach Knight. Let me see all this shit. Like the cops.
You know who I am.
Yeah, this local cop like arrests him, and the guy on the bus is like, I wasn't on the bus for like 15 minutes. What the fuck happened in there? Coach Knight's gonna walk down in handcuffs.
Hey, Coach, can I get off the bus now?
Right, exactly. He probably like, no, you sit your ass on the bus.
Not till I get back.
Once I catch bail, then maybe you get off the bus. Yeah.
Post my bail.
So these are all great sports, but we know hockey's coming.
Hell
I know you're a hockey fan too. It is 52 days till preseason NHL hockey.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the Wings this year. Like they won't hopefully be terrible. I know you're an Avs guy, but like I don't know. For me,
like the Wings.
For me, being a Detroit guy, like we're so like focused on the Lions right now. Like Lions hype is there, and Lions belief is there, and they do have a game down. They do have a game in Indy this year.
Don't worry, the Bears hype is up there too.
It's up there, dude.
Come on, guys.
It is up there, man.
Guys.
Bears fans are
We're
excited.
going to trade that quarterback off in 2 years to Pittsburgh. It'll be great.
It could be. Yeah.
Quarterbacks go to die.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the Wings. It'll be fun. I just hope that, like, for me as a Wings fan at this point, and this is weird to say, for growing up, they were always, the standard, but I just hope they're in it at the end. Like, hopefully, not like Stanley Cup, but like I just want them to either make the playoffs or be close to the playoffs at the end.
They made a hell of a run last year, and I think
they got close. They're
moving up.
They're a point away. They should be close this year. Tarasenko and stuff. They should be close, but like everybody in Detroit right now is like Lions.
Yes.
Is Detroit Lions. The tickets are crazy. The Lions are like the team.
It just
Joe-
takes the Wings to have a good start of the season,
Yeah.
and people are going to get right behind
Hockey
them.
town. I'll tell you what, like
Still hockey town. Yeah.
it is, but like in the late 2008, 2009, early 2010s, a lot of people don't know this, but being from Detroit, it is a baseball city.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and I went to multiple World Series games. When the Tigers are good, that team is such a great baseball city. Like that city is so awesome for baseball, and they really are behind the Tigers. And that thing is like in the state of Michigan, like the Red Wings, the Lions, and the Tigers are like the team. They're split on college. It's mostly Michigan, but it's probably 70-30 Michigan, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Like everybody's a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Everybody's a Tigers fan.
Yeah.
Everybody's a Wings fan. And the Wings are probably a little bit more nationally rooted for. I think they're actually like the first or second rooted for team in the nation for hockey. The Red Wings are for some reason. Whereas the Lions are you're a Lions fan if you're from here.
You're regional. Yeah.
You're a Tigers fan, you're from here. But the
Yeah.
Red Wings are like a national team because of the 90s success they had.
And they're also one of the the
Original
first teams
six.
in.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
Original six. So, yeah.
Joe is a two-time champion of their poker night.
Oh yeah.
And so the Red Wings put
Yeah.
on this huge fundraiser, and hundreds of people to get in this tournament, play with all the players at their table and whatnot. And twice he has won this massive poker tournament. So
Oh yeah.
That's
what
awesome.
shit- you got seats,
The fir-
sweet
yeah.
tickets and all. That.
Yeah, the
Damn.
first time I played in it was still probably in the heyday for the team. So like it's a really cool thing. They didn't do it last year. I hope they do it this year. So when the Red Wings ran it, it was through their the Red Wings charity,
Yeah.
and you pay $400 or $500 and you can bring a guest, and you have a whole dinner with like the team. You can meet all the players from the Red Wings team, bring stuff, they'll sign it, all that stuff. It includes your stay at Motor City Casino that night, and then one of you that buys the ticket, like you get to play in a hold'em tournament they put a Red Wing at every table.
Yeah.
How many players? There's quite a few players.
There was like 140 or something like that, and then
Wow.
and so it's like 140 participants plus they put a Red Wing at every table, and you just play a hold'em tournament that night, and then there's
And you
prizes for the
crushed them
top
all.
10 people. Yeah, so the first year I played in it, I won it, and the prize was like a suite for you and 20 people for a regular season game the next season. So I brought all
Damn.
my friends, my family, my dad. Like we all went up and they brought up like a Red Wing before the game to meet. Like Samuelson came up, and you get to go to the game, and
That's
that was cool. Now it's just a cash prize. The last year I played in it, the grand prize was like $5,000, and I won that. So I played
Which
it.
you can afford to buy a suite if you want to, right?
At Little Caesars, it'd be close.
That's
The
true,
New
that's
Arena,
true, that's
it'd be
true.
close. The suites have gone up since the Joe, so it would be close. But it's weird because the drop off was like if you got third, you got like 4 tickets for a game.
Okay.
If you got fourth, you got like a signed hockey stick. So it was like once you got to that final table, you're like, I gotta fucking win this thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like there's a big drop off from first to fourth.
Yeah.
Like there's a
My
big,
money is
yeah.
not gonna.
There's a big drop. So
Wait,
yeah, I've played it 3 times. I've won it twice. I hope they run it this year, so I can play it again.
That's
But the
cool.
problem is now is like my dad and my mom and other people are like, well, if it comes up, we'll just buy you for your Christmas gift because you're gonna win, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. It's not that easy. Like
That's how the cards fall.
exactly. Like
sometimes,
the one year me and my dad went up. The one year I didn't win it. It was like early on, and it was like pre-flop. I got pocket aces, and the 2 people ahead of me were like all in. I was like, okay, all in. And the guy across from me, we both had pocket aces. And the lady over here had pocket queen. She caught queen on the flop. She knocked us both out.
Oh,
I come out of the
jeez.
poker room. My dad's like, what happened? So I got knocked out. He's like, I thought you were good. I was like, what? I mean, come on. I was like, I'm
Thanks, Dad.
never gonna play it anywhere different. I'm not gonna play it different. I was like,
Nah,
just
you got-
just
yeah.
didn't happen tonight.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. So the last time I won it, Kevin was still a rep for Oliva, Kevin McKenna,
Yep.
and Ivan, our Placencia rep. They came up to Detroit. They were both in the Michigan area, so they came up that night to Detroit. And I said, hey, I'm playing this poker tournament. Why don't you guys come up? Whenever I get knocked out, let's smoke cigars, let's hang, let's drink. So they get there while I'm playing the tournament, and they're hanging out with Rick outside the poker room. And I just want to have a night out in Detroit with my dad. So I thought, hey, if I don't win this thing, we'll go out, we'll have cigars, we'll have some drinks, we'll have a fun night. So I'm playing this thing. I just keep winning and winning and winning. It keeps going on. And they're just staring at me from outside the poker room, and they're doing this, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm like, and I felt bad because the whole night they hung out there, just watched me play poker. And it got done at 11 or whatever, and it was on like a Monday or Tuesday night. So I win the thing, and I'm amped. And I'm like, I want to go have the whole thing. I'm like, I just want to go have a cigar with my dad. I don't really care about I cared about the $5,000, but I was like, I want to go hang out with my dad. It's like a night away from the kids and the wife. I want to go out. And so we're like, who's still open? And Casa downtown was still open, but their closing time was like midnight. And by the time they cashed me out, it took forever to they present you with some big Happy Gilmore check. But then I'm like, they have to take you to the window, and they literally hand you $5,000 in cash.
Oh, damn.
And so Rick's like, "When do you go put this in the safe and get this in?" And Rick's walking like we're like fucking security, like we're getting mugged in the casino. And so I'm like, "I want to have a cigar." So it's like 11:30 by the time we got there. I call Casa. I go, "Hey, what time you close?" They're like midnight. It's like, "Is it a soft close or a hard close?" And they're like, "It's soft. We're pretty busy. We'll stay open." I was like, "Can you please stay open at least for like me and my dad to come down and have a cigar?" So we were able to go to Casa downtown, have a smoke, have a couple cocktails, enjoy the night, and do that because everything was like closing early. It's a Monday, it's Monday night in Detroit, so that was at least fun to have a stick with my dad and celebrate that. And all that money went to Disney World. The minute I won that, my wife's like, "We're going to Disney," and I'm like, "That's gonna pay for half of it." Yeah, exactly. But like,
if that.
My wife had already kind of planned the trip. And I remember after I won it and we went down there, I was like, "How are we gonna do this trip if I didn't win that poker tournament? Like how the fuck are we gonna pay for any of this?"
You're gonna stay at the Ramada Inn.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was cool. Hopefully they do it this year. I think more teams should do that. I mean, I've talked to friends who are Blackhawks fans and everywhere else, and I went, the fact that the Red Wings do that, they do the poker tournament, they meet the whole team, everybody, I mean, they sell out of it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because for that price, you go, hey, it's $500. It goes to charity, but two guys can go meet the hockey team, eat, drink, stay at the hotel. Like, that's a great experience. Like, people that have, like, the Colts should do that.
Yeah.
Like, throw a tournament down at Burn or Blend or somewhere or whatever, or Hoosier Park, and do like a Colts poker tournament where you get to meet guys from the team, hang out, maybe get a cigar sponsor or something. Like if you have a place where you can smoke at, but like do that. It's a great fundraiser, and you'll sell out of 100 tickets immediately. And I've only seen the Red Wings do that.
So I know you're here in Fort Wayne. Do you guys do anything with the Comets at all?
Because of our distributors, we'll do like 2 or 3 nights where we get like a suite of the Comet games throughout the year through our distributors. So if you find a game like for next year, the Fuel coming up, we kind of get to pick like 3 dates where we get like a suite for the game because of our beer distributors. So we have to do a game with like 14 people for a Comets game.
Yeah.
Throughout the year.
We've had more success with having Comet players work for us.
Oh yeah.
So
there you go.
not Comets players, but hockey players.
Yeah.
Because we have the spacemen in town, we have the Distillers, so like we get a lot of there's a lot of guys. We have a really good hockey developmental area here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of guys from all over the nation, even some overseas guys that are here throughout the summer that train here for hockey. So we've employed a lot of those guys throughout the year because they're looking for a summer gig. And with this guy Jan a few years ago that was from like Czech Republic or some shit, and he just needed a summer gig, and he's one of the best employees we ever had.
All right, Colin, we're asking you, come on and work with us.
Who was it? Was it Zane?
He'll be a bouncer.
Zane was the guy that worked for the Guard. He was an international guard. Jan was our big hockey player, and he was the nicest, softest spoken guy in the world. And I saw a few videos of him playing minor league hockey. He was a fucking mean motherfucker. He was a soft-spoken 6'6" Czech.
Yeah.
Come out here, change propane tanks, get people running for BLs, get people running for cigars. When you see him on the ice, you're like, oh my God, he's pummeling people's faces in. Well, and he was a career minor league guy,
During the Stanley Cup final, we actually, because we sponsored the Fuel this last year, and we're going to do it this year again. Colin Bielik and 4 other players from the Fuel came up, and we were hanging out with them. We went to watch the Stanley Cup final with them, and it was so funny because Colin is like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Super nice guy, but when he first came to the Fuel, the first game, he's like, I'm going to beat somebody up because I want to let people know who I am. So he comes in, first game, guy says something to him, he's like, all right, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And he grabs him, he starts beating him up, takes him to the ice, and literally he's like picking him up and slamming him to the ice. He becomes the enforcer.
Sure.
And his mom's like, oh, You're such a nice guy. Tell people you're not mean. He's like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's so fun, man. Hockey players are a blast.
No, they are,
hanging out with.
and I still play like random beer league. There's a few.
I knew you did, yeah.
There's our guy that does karaoke on Thursday nights, Larry. I'm on their beer league team, so I play throughout the year. Rudy gives me shit because I'll come in on Monday,
Beat up.
walking like I'm 80, and he's like, "You better quit this shit. You're not gonna be able to fucking work anymore." Like, 'cause it does happen like a couple times a year where I just throw my back out completely terrible, and like I'm on like Percocets and shit. Like, it's not great, but it's one of those things like you do. I don't want to say to like stay in shape because I'm not in any type of shape, but it's just really fun to get out there with the guys and play a little bit of hockey and have some beers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
My dad still does a senior league.
Yeah.
I guess.
yeah,
Hockey culture is so
Dad
much
league.
fun.
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, like I played in a tournament over the summer. It was like the Battle of the Fort, and you had these college teams and semi-pro teams. Like there was a team that played in the top division, and it was all guys on like AHL rosters. They're on this freaking
Damn.
thing, and I wasn't in that, but I was watching these games, and it was like the final game was like AHL guys, and it was all like ex-pros, and the ex-pro team won.
Oh,
It was like guys were all like ex-Comets and ex-AHL guys, a couple ex-AHL guys, and they beat all the young pups.
oh, wow.
And it was awesome to see. And it was a great hockey game. It was really cool to see it in Fort Wayne. And we played like in the lower division and had a great weekend. But playing 4 games of hockey in like 36 hours
God.
in my shape was fucking hell. Like
Yeah.
I'm walking around the house and I'm grunting like, ugh. And my kids are like, "You okay, Dad?" I was like, "Dad can't play 4 hockey games in a weekend anymore. It's too much. Just can't do it."
Well,
We have a large clientele of soccer fans.
yes.
Soccer.
I noticed that in here, yes.
It was crazy, and they started a men's semi-intramural type of men's soccer program. So we
That
put
sounds
together
horrible.
a Rudy's team together,
Yeah.
and the guy that owns the
It was
Blackstone,
yeah.
this kind of soccer training camps. So we were on the team, and these guys were all out of shape. We didn't have any backups. They were getting sick on the field and starting
Oh, yeah.
fights. And Bobby said, "We're gonna get this team up a little bit." So he brought in a few of his coaches, and they added to our team, and we started to do well. And we're in the championship. And the Marcus Beasley was in town and suited up and
Oh,
played with our. No one knew
On
who
your
he
team?
was.
Oh,
He
nice.
he never showed off. He never took a shot. He passed it off, and the Rudy's team won. And everybody, when they're shaking hands at the end, realize they're shaking hands with the Marcus Beasley.
Oh, that's
He was on the
hilarious.
field with him.
So for people that don't know, DeMarcus Beasley played in 4 World Cups. He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah.
He played for Rangers, Man City. He played for Houston, the MLS. Like the greatest soccer player to come out of Fort Wayne. But yeah, he was up here smoking cigars with us on like a Wednesday night or some shit. And we had a Meds League game the next night, and we're busting his balls. We're like, "Hey, DeMarcus, you want to play for us tomorrow night?" And he's like, "You know what? If my flight this is the middle of the winter, so if my flight gets canceled, sure." And so we're out there. Our game starts at like 9 or some shit, and we're just out there warming up. And in walks DeMarcus, and he
Oh,
goes,
damn.
"My flight to Atlanta got canceled. I'm not making it back to Houston." So he just
Starting roster.
so the funniest thing for me that night was, in indoor you play like 5 and a goalie, and I was playing midfield, and DeMarcus was like, "Hey Joe, like I'll just play midfield and like, you'll play midfield, so I'll sub in for you." I was like, "Cool." So I won't get to play with you, but you'll sub in. So I would just run like a sprint for like 30 seconds and just like tag him back in. Like, all right, you go in. So like the team's better when I'm not on the field. So like, the team's much better when DeMarcus is out there. We played this team of all like 19, 20-year-olds, and he's just dancing around people. Not like Rudy said, not even breaking a sweat. And none of the kids on their team had any idea who he was, even though his picture's up in the building. And it was finally a kid after the game that went, "Was DeMarcus Beasley on your guys' team?" It's like, "Yep." "Was it the guy in the red shorts?" "Yep." "Oh yeah, he seemed pretty good."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like he was like had an open shot, would like fake it, like pass it off to one of us rejects, like try to get us a goal. We're like,
Yeah.
just shoot it.
Just
DeMarcus,
shoot it.
Just shoot it,
We
dude.
want to win.
Just shoot
So-
it, man.
So here's the real question: how much do you guys miss the Mad Ants?
Not.
Okay,
No,
I figured as such.
No.
All right,
They're
next
building-
topic.
they're building a new the field house there in
Yeah.
Noblesville for them.
I mean,
so.
there's a handful of people here that go to all the minor league sports. Like you find a lot of
Yeah.
the Tin Caps people, or a lot of the same comment people that are the Mad Ants people that
And
watch.
Tin Caps is a great place to go watch a game, man.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's
And they
awesome.
do a good job. And if you look at like the pros that are there now in the MLB that came through the Padres system that were tin caps at one point. It's pretty big. And so they do a really good job over there. We have a great relationship with the tin caps. Again, the Rudys cigar that you'll see coming out, it's like a play off of their logo and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So we do really a lot of fun stuff with them. But it's an amazing ballpark to watch a game and
Yeah.
to hang out. It's beautiful.
We're the corporate sponsor of their Thirsty, their $2 beer night.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
every Thursday we bring in a different Indiana craft
Heck yeah.
brewing.
Whoa.
And behind third base, we're giving away samples of that brewery's beer that night.
Yeah.
And then we have Larry, the announcer for the Comets, do karaoke after the game. So everybody's
that's
all
sweet.
tuned up with their $2 beer.
Oh, yeah.
And then they hit that microphone and they're just.
Yeah, if you want to hear some real shitty karaoke, definitely come down here on Thursday
yeah.
during,
I'll tell you,
during
man,
the summer.
If you guys are baseball fans, come up here to Fort Wayne, go to a Tin Caps game, literally across from the southwest quadrant of the field.
We always say
Caddy corner across the street.
we're
you're
outside
here.
the home plate entrance. Yeah.
Yeah, home plate entrance. Yeah, it's right. Rudy's is right here. You can come here, have some cigars and drinks. Go over there and watch a ball game. It's a blast.
Yeah, that's good.
So I do sports broadcasting. That's my day job. So
Oh,
I work
cool.
for the Pacers, the Fever,
Oh, awesome.
Mad Ants now,
ESPN. and all that
ESPN.
stuff, yeah.
So I get to see the Mad Ants play pretty much by themselves because nobody goes. Like
That's actually
tens of people show up.
So that's actually what I was gonna do before IT.
Play for the Mad Ants?
No. No, sports broadcasting. I did sports broadcasting for like 8 years.
Oh, cool.
All throughout high school. So I went to Homestead and we had this big broadcast journalism department and radio broadcasting department. And I was going to go to Ball State and do that. And I worked for like one of the local stations for a couple of years doing color for football and things like that. So
Sweet.
sports broadcasting was like kind of, if I wasn't in this, that's what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
Was actually doing like play
It's
by
definitely
play.
fun. I'm a technical director, so I sit behind the
Okay.
board. I don't get to see anyone. I sit in the basement most places, and I'm behind scenes. So
Stop selling yourself short, man.
I make the pictures
came up
pretty.
he came up with a hype video for the Pacers that is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ESPN quality.
I'm interviewing for the full-time spot with the Pacers now as their
Awesome.
producer director.
Okay.
So working through that. We're filming a documentary with a distillery in Kentucky that's opening up. So
Sure.
Mixture of live production, sports broadcasting, film type stuff. So
Sure.
it's super cool seeing these, AAA teams, AA teams that get attention on national level
Well,
still.
I'm so happy
well,
that
for-
we're finally getting through summer when we're getting ready to get into hockey season,
Yeah.
football season, all the good
Yeah,
sports.
one more week of football.
It is
I like baseball. It's fine. I want to go to a game. I don't want to
yeah.
watch it on TV. I'm ready for
baseball
freaking
season's fine, but
sports.
like the peak of our time is like October, November when you have like MLB playoffs, NBA playoffs, and you have like you're in the middle of football season, college and pro, and you have hockey. It's like the best time to be alive. Like it's like football. Like again, next weekend we finally get college football, and I know like I'm a Michigan guy, but like next weekend I think Florida State plays
College football's ready.
like Georgia Tech, where the fuck they play. I'm like, I'm gonna watch Florida State, Georgia Tech. I don't
Fuck
give a
yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so ready for like real football. Like my dad, or my father-in-law, like yesterday was like, or the day before was like watching the Colts preseason game. He's like, "Well, come over at halftime." I was like, "Why are you watching this? Like, why?"
I
I'm like,
watched it too.
No,
It's
no. He's
dog
like, I was
shit.
like, he's
It
like, well,
sucked.
so and so played, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Who?
exactly, yeah. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
was like, it's-
Wale is on the. I'm
It's
like, who
it's
the
such
hell
a
is that
tease. Like
guy?
so and so looked pretty good. I'm like, it's literally the preseason. Like none of it matters.
It's horrible.
The stat I always say to my son, he just turned 8, was like if we were watching a preseason game the other night. He's like, "Oh, the Lions beat the Chiefs or whatever." I said,
Yeah.
"Son,
No, they won't.
the year we beat the Chiefs last year."
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's go Detroit.
Thank you. But the stat I always say to my son is like, "Hey, the year the Lions went 4-0 in the preseason was the same year we went 0-16."
Yeah.
Yep.
Same,
Well,
so
that's like the
that's
Bears.
all you need to know.
The
That's
Bears
all
are
you need
so
to know.
excited. The
Yeah.
Bears are talking
Yeah.
about we're dominating preseason. I'm like, yeah, preseason's
Like,
almost over,
the,
guys.
the same year we won every preseason game, we did not win a regular season game. And I went into a game that year in Indy. We went to Lions, Colts in Indy, Peyton Manning team, and we were up like with 5 minutes to go in the fourth, and then Peyton came down and scored, and we lost. At that point, we were like 0-12 or 0-13 with Dan Orlovsky and all that bullshit and that team. And I remember I went to that game, and I had Lions jerseys, but I wore a Red Wings jersey to the game. because I thought it would stand out more. I remember walking out, and some Colts fan was like, "I'd wear a Red Wings jersey too if I was a fucking Lions fan." I was like, I looked at him, I was like, yeah. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I was like, the Red Wings are good. We are terrible. We are terrible. I'm not trying to fight you.
They're back.
We are back.
Don't ever let Colts fans talk shit to you.
Oh God. No.
Colts have had plenty bad years behind them.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, come on. I've been a Bears fan for a long time. It's rough.
look, Gardner Minshew's the starting
you
quarterback
guys understand.
We do. We definitely understand. The funniest stat.
Bears and Lions, man. It's rough.
The funniest NFL stat I heard today, that was telling the guys earlier, was somebody just said, ranking wise, AFC East. Okay, AFC East. So you have Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, Jets. Okay. And I said, where do you think the Jets rank all time in East titles? And people were guessing second, third, whatever. The Jets are fifth.
Fifth, yeah. I was gonna say
They're
before
fifth because the Colts, back in the day when they were in the AFC,
they were dominating.
actually, but they actually have like more than the Jets. But the Colts have not been in that division in like 24 years.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
yeah.
the actual Jets are tied with like the Houston Oilers or some shit for AFC East titles because
Again,
of how long it goes
around
back
here,
and how long the division is. It's like people go, oh, the East, there's 4 teams.
Yeah.
Where do the Jets rank? They're fifth.
Yeah.
And the division has 4 teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
The division has 4 teams.
Thank you to sponsor Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's DED Wood Live.
That was a stat until last year. Like until the Lions won the North last year, the Buccaneers had won the divisions more recent than the Lions.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers had not been in that division since 1998.
No.
Like that had been that long since the Lions had won the fucking division.
it's a shitty stat to compare to.
Well, it's terrible.
It
It's
really
terrible.
is.
No,
I
it is.
mean,
And now, no,
it made no sense why Tampa Bay was in that division at that time.
oh, the old black and blue division
my
that had the
God,
Bucks
it
in
was
it. Yeah,
horrible.
it made,
What the
it
hell?
made no sense.
What the hell?
Again, I always see these realignments and like, yeah, like the North should be like Lions, Bears, Colts, Bengals, Packers, or something
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like
or Browns.
that,
It should be
yeah.
like Browns, Bengals, Lions, Colts.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
But
that
now
5, yeah.
nowadays it takes you 3 hours to fly anywhere from the
Yeah.
central part
Sure.
of the country.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal, but
But with hockey,
I mean, look at the,
But I'm saying
look
with
at the
hockey,
big
dude.
freaking 10 right now.
oh well, the Big Ten this
You
year is
got
gonna be a
West
joke.
Coast, East Coast,
Oh,
everybody
man.
in between. I'm like, what the hell's
Like,
going on?
like the Oregon women's volleyball team's gonna be going to Rutgers to play
What the
volleyball.
hell?
Look, just wait till they dissolve the ACC, then everything's gonna be a shit show. Like
ACC will never dissolve.
they're still
buddy.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
FSU's ready to jump ship.
Men's basketball will never dissolve there.
No, but they're trying to. They're
Yeah.
trying to reorg that shit again.
It'll
It's not
be
pretty.
a really weird year for the Big Ten because, like,
Big
Yeah.
10, Big 47.
well, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like
Big
when you have,
47.
when you have like USC playing Illinois and whatever
Yeah,
week
it's
it is,
who,
like
who the hell cares?
right?
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be really weird. The first time UCLA has to go play a game in Maryland, you'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, why not? Like
3-day travel time.
Well, there were 3 teams that added to the ACC this year. It's was it Cal, Stanford,
yep,
and there was one other one that added. I can't remember who, but it's like West Coast teams.
yeah,
And like, can you imagine? The only like good part about that I can see is that my days are gonna get shorter
Yeah.
as a broadcaster because like they have to be home at a certain time and they have
Yeah.
to fly to the West Coast. So if they play a Sunday game, typically 8 p.m. is the cutoff, so they can make their flight to get home for classes the next game.
Right.
Like they go to class,
They're not
but,
going to class.
but that's
They do
that's
class
their
on the
rule.
plane if
But I'm
they
Yeah.
saying
have
if you're
to.
if you're a USC fan and you're waking up on Saturday morning and your team's playing at 9 a.m. local time,
Yeah, you're not
then-
going to watch it. Well,
you
you
will.
will.
You
You
will.
will.
You'll wake up with a cup of coffee and a cigar
Yeah.
and hang out and watch
And
your
the-
game, and then your day's done. You go,
Couple
oh, it's
beers.
noon,
Actually,
and
that's,
I'll continue on
that's
the rest
not
of
a
my day.
bad gig.
It's kind of the dream.
It actually is,
It's
yeah.
kind of the dream. Like you wake up at 9 a.m., watch the team
Dude.
play, and then by noon you're like, I got the rest of the day.
I will tell you,
Great.
man, hockey season for me, I am literally in the lounge every night
Yeah.
until 1:30 in the morning watching the last game.
Yeah,
I don't care who's playing. I don't give a shit. It could be the fucking Detroit Red Wings. I'll watch that.
I'm the same way. I'm kind of like a semi-degenerate, like on the sports gambling side of things.
I love hockey.
So once football season or hockey season starts, and I'm like, hey, what's the over on the Hawaii game? It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, sure, why not? Like, whatever's on, Like I'll be like New Mexico State, Hawaii, let's go.
So we've started
Let's-
going.
let's
'cause
bet on it.
We actually do some partnership with the casino, Hoosier Park.
Yeah.
And so we've been going over there quite a bit and doing some gambling. Dumb fucker over here actually won $800 on the last
Yeah,
race.
Dan Patrace was last Tuesday.
So he won.
$300,000
He's the only
purse.
guy that's won that much money. In
Oh
our
yeah,
group.
I mean we all
I've
win
lost
a little
money.
bit, but
Yeah.
you know.
I win money, but I lose more than I win.
Well, most
but
of the
I
races
win money
there-
on hockey.
Yeah, he gets
That's
all the
my
hockey.
thing.
Well,
Is I
he
win
wins
all the
money
money on the
cricket.
hockey.
Yeah.
I'll do a freaking parlay with
Parlay,
every
yeah.
game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll win. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just know where we're at. But I
got lucky,
can't do
man.
that in horse
Yeah.
racing yet.
Well, it's wild that like there's not that many states that even have the sports gambling.
Right.
It's not many at all. Like I had an uncle that lives in like North Carolina, and he'd be texting me and Venmo me money and being like, "Can you place this, this, and this?" I'm like, "Wait, you don't have that?"
What?
He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay," so I just place a bet for him and Venmo him back, but like they don't have it down there.
So
There's only like 8 states that have sports betting.
I don't know for sure. And maybe I'm being ignorant here. Is there any casinos in this region up here?
No, you have to go northwest, but like near South Bend, there's like
Gotcha,
a couple, and
okay.
then Firekeepers in Michigan, technically it's like an hour north in
Okay.
Coldwater.
Okay.
But it's Hoosier Park and Firekeepers like the closest.
Okay.
And yeah, like that's it.
You just
So-
have to come down. If you ever have a Tuesday off, you want to come down and hang out with us. Tuesday nights, a lot of time, we'll just go out there. We'll get a private suite, smoke cigars,
Fuck yeah.
drink bourbon, and watch horse racing. It's a blast.
money.
Done.
It's a blast. I
I'm
mean, you
honestly
take
for that.
$20 to the horse track,
Oh yeah.
bet all night, and if you lose it all, you lost $20. If you win some, good for you.
We have an OTB about 15 minutes from here. It's a sports betting / OTB, and we used to carry cigars and do a couple events out there. And they went completely non-smoking like 2 years ago.
Oh, that
So you
sucks.
used to be able to go there and have a cigar. We did some winter events out there, have a cigar, bet on a game, bet on a horse, whatever. And they just went completely non-smoking for the whole property.
Well,
That
I'll
sucks.
tell you off air something that's happening right now.
Okay.
So we're working
like
on
that.
something that's pretty special over the track.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Shout out.
Teaser.
Shout
Yes, yes.
But no, yeah, I mean, I love the guys here give me shit because I bet way too much on sports, random shit. Like I had a parlay over the Olympics that encompassed like 8 different sports. It was like women's volleyball, men's table tennis. Like
Did you win?
I did.
That's all
I did.
matters.
It was like a $20 bet, hit like for 280,
Dude.
and it was like again. I woke up. The men's table tennis over there was at like 3 a.m. and I had like a hit on the first 7 legs, like 2 to go, and the last 2 legs were men's table tennis. And like I woke up the next day, I was like, "Oh, I won!"
Hey,
I was like, I took this one
yay.
guy from Great Britain, this one guy from Japan. Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No
Look
rhyme
at
or
those
reason.
guys. It's all
And
good.
these guys were like, "God, you're such a piece of shit." I was like, "Ah."
These guys call me a degenerate. So I'll bet on like a Canadian horse race because I need to
Cricket.
build. I did. I bet on cricket one night. I'm like, nothing else to bet on. I'll bet on cricket. It takes a fucking week,
Oh, it's a week. Yeah,
To win.
to play the fucking game. Yeah.
and I won.
Hey,
It was
I have no
actually-
idea how.
I have no idea. I don't know
No.
what the score was.
no,
I
the
don't
score
know.
was just go. Hey, I won. It's my.
I won $10.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
Yeah.
great.
I bet on the preseason game last week. I've been betting on the under in all these preseason games.
Oh,
You guys are
God.
like, I can't believe
Preseason's
you bet
gotta
on
be
preseason. I
hard.
was like, but
Hey, bet on the Bears,
they
man.
all suck.
They're gonna win them all
They might.
till
They
the
might.
season starts.
I'm gonna bet for them to go defeated.
Wait, they have. There's only 3 preseason games,
Yeah, it's
right?
only 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're already done. Bears
Yeah.
are done. They've already played 3.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
next
3.
They're
what's
3-0, baby. 3-0. Let's go.
They open up. Our guy Nate in there, our Perdomo rep Nate is hanging there right now. Nate's our Perdomo guy. and
Oh, okay.
He's a big Titans fan.
Ah.
And they open up against the Titans, so he's
Yeah.
like, "Tighten up, Titans." They're like,
Blah,
but he
blah,
knows,
blah, 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 whatever.
he knows they suck.
Yeah.
They suck. Like they're terrible. Like the Titans actually go to Detroit this year, so I think we might go up for the Titans at Detroit game, and
Who's Detroit have first game?
we open up against the Rams Sunday night.
Uh-oh. There you go. Okay.
Stafford's
Big
back.
game.
Stafford's back in town.
Yeah, we're only a week away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's next weekend. Is
Next
the first
weekend
regular
is.
season.
Yeah.
Is it? No,
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
Yeah. I
two,
think
right?
it's that. No, I think it's this weekend.
Is it really?
Not
What's
this
today?
weekend,
Well, it's
but
Monday.
the following.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think we have 1 week of lull, and then we have
Because
the.
this is our first like college game. It's like week 0 technically.
Yeah.
Next weekend's like all the big college games.
Yeah.
Like not this weekend, but the next weekend, Labor Day. It might.
Purdue plays Michigan, Indiana State.
Okay.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Or next?
Oh no, it's gonna be next.
Oh, you're right. It is.
Next,
it is.
okay.
Yeah, it is next.
NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one more week of.
Yeah. Because like,
yeah, because they have
Thursday to-
that extra week of
because like
practice.
Labor Day weekend's like the first weekend of college. I think Michigan's the night game on ABC against like Fresno State or some shit.
I will say I like college football more than pro football.
I'm the same.
I like watching pro football, but I've not gotten into it for so long. I appreciate college a little bit more
I'm probably I would
because
say,
I'm a Bears fan. They
I would
suck.
say I'm probably even on both. Like last year, I'll never be topped. Like me and my dad were Michigan guys, and we're Lions fans. And last year, Michigan won the Natty, and the Lions got
Oh,
the
yeah?
NFC Championship game. And I just said, I was like, I don't know if we'll ever have a better year than we had.
Yeah.
Like, and
Maybe
I
not.
I joked with my dad. I was like, if the Lions would have won the Super Bowl last year, I said to Rick, I said, do we just stop watching football? And he goes,
I would.
He goes, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. If you win the Natty in the Super Bowl, you probably
Yep.
just stop at that point. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do after that?
So I
Like,
don't know if I told you the story behind the Natty. So a buddy of ours, one of our lounge guys, his name's Will Breeden, and he's a Michigan grad, and he went down and did a barrel pick where he blended a barrel down at Bourbon 30, and he's like, I don't know what to name it. Well, his first one he did was Cocky Wolverine. He had to do that. So this one is like the day of the Natty Championship. He's like,
should have been Team
I want to
135.
call it the what do you call it, the Hail to the Victors.
Hail to the victors.
Okay.
That was the
He said, I
second
want to
one.
call it that,
Yeah.
but I don't want to jinx him. I'm like, buddy, own it. He did it, and they won. I'm like, good on you. So
Good
we
on
have
you.
Hail to the Victors bourbon at the lounge right now.
I need some bottles of that.
All right, I'll get you a bottle.
Okay.
I'll get you a bottle of that.
We actually hit up Mike from Roma. So the national championship was in Houston. And there's a lot of companies over the years used to do an H-Town exclusive for H-Town cigars in Houston.
Yeah, that'd be.
And Roma did a H-Town Lancero that was the Neanderthal.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
damn.
hell yeah.
Dude.
Oh my
And
God.
so they have-
Lancero and Neanderthal?
Yeah, and so they haven't made them in forever. They only made them for H-Town. So
You have any of those?
no.
Damn it.
So,
buy
but
that shit from
I
you.
could probably find some. So
I'll
we
buy
never
one
we
for
never
you.
carried him, but like Matul, who owns Sun Cigars in New York, is a giant Roma shop, and I wanted to get some of these H Towns for the national championship game. So I hit up Matul and I said, "Hey, do you happen to have any?" And he sold me like 10 of them. So we had them that night, and these things were old, and we had to smoke them that night. And even with like 4 years of age on these things, they were fucking powerhouses.
Oh,
they were
wow.
amazing. They were amazing. So we had to smoke the H Towns during the national championship game in Houston from Matul. Shout out from Matul and then from Roman Craft. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was great. But that cigar, still at this point, was a fucking ass kicker.
Yeah.
Like for me, who smokes 4 or 5 cigars a day or whatever it is, even lighting that thing up, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this thing is got
So
a lot of
that's a
balls
good
on it.
question for you because I have several Lanceros. I have about half what I had when I opened up. I'm a Lancero guy. I love Lanceros. Do you guys have quite a few Lanceros, or do you have even a following? I know they don't sell well. We have a little bit of a following because I like them, so I sell them. But I was just curious if you had many
We
of those.
probably had way more a few years ago, but
Toros are king in this state.
it's just everything is having a Corona Gorda. Like
Corona Gordas are fantastic.
Lanceros scare people off, and like I might say, oh hey, I know this cigar is great, but if I want to try to get in the hands of people, they're gonna be so put off by the Lancero size, so they're not gonna smoke it,
Yeah,
and they just won't either try it or they won't want to try it. But I love Lanceros,
I do too.
but
Well,
people still buy
the
'em.
argument I hear so much is like, oh, it makes my fingers look fat. I'm like, no, fucker. That's the food you eat that makes your fingers look
That's
fat.
the sugar.
Has nothing to do with the cigar.
Yeah. No, I mean it's great flavor. I mean, but you've learned what we've learned. Like when people blend a cigar, what they blend it to is either a really small Corona or like a smaller Lancero when they blend it because they don't want to waste tobacco. So when you
Yeah.
taste a cigar and people go, "That's it," the blend they came up with is closer to a Lancero or Corona Gorda than anything else.
Yeah.
Like when they blend a cigar and say, "Yep, that knuckle."
Is that still the case?
Yeah.
'Cause I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some blenders say they've kind of changed their model on that, where they're blending towards Toros because it's the biggest selling.
I think
But-
for most people, when they say that's it on a stick, it's still like a little petite Corona versus anything.
Yeah.
Because you're smoking something quick, you're going, and you smoke another one, you go, yeah, and you're tasting that wrapper, and you're tasting that, and you go, yeah, that's it. I think most people are still blending towards that small size.
Yeah.
So I tell people, is like when you smoke a Lancero or Corona Gorda, that's the closest to like what that cigar was meant to be. And you're getting that wrapper and you're getting all that flavor versus like you put a Gordo and you're like, it's all filler. Wherever it is. But like we still sell 1 million Gordos here. Like we have guys who
We
just
do
want
too.
a big cigar.
Yeah.
Well, it
I'm not that
feels
guy.
like you're getting more tobacco for the money.
Sure.
I
Oh,
get
for
it.
sure.
I get it for sure.
It's a
But
longer smoke. I mean, there's
so
yeah.
you have Aganorsa here,
Mhm.
so we're gonna be adding those here soon. Fabian and Irv was at the shop last
Yep.
week. I
Yeah,
think it
yeah, they
was.
were here last week too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they brought some of the little fumas of
Yeah.
the Jalapa and the Esteli, and we're gonna do that on the show to talk to people about the different flavors of tobaccos. And I'm like, it's a really good way to learn the flavors, and then
Yeah.
when you put them together, you're like, oh my god, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, just a Jalapa and Esteli tobacco together, you're like, I
mean-
want that cigar. I want a full cigar, just that.
And Agranosa, like as a company, just makes so many good fucking cigars.
Great
like,
tobacco
like
too.
the stuff
Yeah.
they do for themselves, plus the stuff they do for like a Illusione and for
Yeah.
Warped and for everybody else. Like they're just so good at making cigars. It was like Plasencia before they had their own company, right? Like
Yeah.
Plasencia's making cigars for 10 different people,
Same boat,
and
yeah.
then they have their own brand. And so Agranosa's in that boat to where guys go, do you have anything from Agranosa? And you might not have at the time like an Agranosa cigar, but you can point to the shelf and go, I got these 10 for an Agranosa. Like people go, hey, what do you have from AJ?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything actually from AJ,
Yeah.
but I
It's
have
just made in their
these.
But he
factory.
made these.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I have these Tabernacles, and I have these all this Espinosa, and I have all this other
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's all made at AJ's factory. Like this is
Yeah.
all AJ. Really? Like yeah, San Lantano
Yeah.
factory. Like it's all there.
Yep.
And AJ sells way more cigars for other people than he sells for
Oh,
himself.
and honestly, the cigars he sells for other people are better than his own stuff.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, hey, good for him. Good on
Yeah.
him to actually do that. But
Well, that's the cheapest way to do it. I mean, that's
It is.
the hardest thing to understand. Is like when you just sell tobacco to other people, your money's made. You don't have to make boxes and bands and market and hire reps and do all
Yeah.
other stuff. When you just say,
you don't have to house
here's your
them or anything.
here's your 100,000 cigars, Eric. Now you go sell them. I already made
Yeah.
my money. Like you don't do anything at that point.
Yeah.
Like it begs the question, like why even do your own cigars?
You're right. Yeah.
Because people want to put their name on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, we talk about it with whiskey all the time. Source whiskey used to be like a taboo thing to do, and now it's almost standard.
MGP juice.
Yeah.
MGP
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah.
MGP juice.
NGBC or Bardstown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's
Everybody has
Bardstown.
it.
They're coming
Yeah,
into the
they are.
market with Whiskey House. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're gonna see a lot more stuff from Bardstown hitting the market. Not like they hadn't already, but
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
now you're gonna see more things labeled, Bardstown bourbon. Than,
Yeah.
than not.
Are you guys carrying Plasencia?
Not yet. I want to. We will.
You have to.
I have to make room for it. I love Ivan. Ivan's a great guy. Is that who your rep is here?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring his cigars in. I like Plasencia.
The thing about Plasencia is like it blew my mind away. Like even if you don't carry 4 facings, right? You got your hexagons, you got your stuff in the $20 to $24 price range,
Yeah.
and it all just moves.
Yeah.
Like people just buy it and they smoke it. They go, man, it's fucking awesome. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me to say. Like when people go, hey, what's the best cigar of this humidor? It's like not pointing at Plasencia half the time because they go, again, Tabernacles are great, Knuckles are great,
Yeah.
that's great, my father's great. I mean,
So do you guys have the Ometepe, the
Yeah.
really high dollar cigar, like $100 and some
No.
cigar? Okay.
No.
I was just curious. I bought one at B&G's just to try it.
yeah,
It's like I want to support those guys because they're great people. I thought this would be a chance for me to try it. I'm sure it's not going to live up to $100 cigar, but
nothing
I do
can.
love the tobacco that they're putting out.
Yeah.
And Plasencia has some great cigars. The Hexagon, I did not want to like it,
No,
and I loved it.
we carry the green and the black and the hexagon all the time. 10-count box, $23-24 a stick, whatever it is, and they just move. And it's the weirdest thing because again, like we talked about earlier, like having a plus $20 cigar was unheard of like 10 years ago. And people buy the Plasencias at $24 But it's fucking great. It's really good. You get people onto those, and they go, "This is really fucking good." And you're like, "Yeah." Like, again, an argument would be like, who has the best tobacco in the world? It could be Plasencia.
It could be. Yeah.
It could be, and they have really great cigars, and they make the original line that's in that $9 to $10 range.
Yeah.
Like they have the original stuff. They have some stuff that's $10, $15, and then it gets up to like 24. So they have a range, and you can't hate $10 10 count boxes.
No.
Like 10 count box on the shelf, and it's priced good for a guy coming in and go, "Oh, I want a box of that." Well, and even for the expensive one, oh, it's $220 a box.
Yeah.
And it's great for them to walk out with that. Ivan's awesome.
Yeah.
He is
He is.
as much of a degenerate as any of us. Like he'll
yeah.
gamble on anything. He's great. And he's a hoot, but like he'll take care of you. I would recommend get Plasencia and have Ivan there for an event. Like he's awesome.
On my short list of getting.
He's awesome. But like again, your goal, like you guys have a great humidor and you want to have the best stuff. You know, bring in 4 phases of Plasencia and you'll turn it all day.
Yeah.
And your customers will be like, "This cigar is fucking awesome."
Yeah.
And no one ever has a hexagon cigar. So guys will buy that off of novelty.
Yeah.
They just will.
So I know you guys sell a lot of wine and beer and stuff too. You have a wine shop here, so you can buy bottles of wine to go and also bottles of wine to share. Do you have a lot of customers that come in and say, "I'm going to get a bottle of wine, I'm going to have a cigar and sit down, crack and pour and have 2 or 3 cigars"? Is that a big thing here too?
For sure, definitely.
Because I don't have wine at the shop yet.
And I told you, like, you got to carry the wine because wine and cigars pair so well. Especially a dry red or whatever with cigars, they do pair so well.
Yeah.
And for the women that come in, the people that want the sweeter stuff, like you'll sell a lot of sweet wine.
Yeah.
You might as well, like, it just sells. And for your guys' place at your shop, if it builds up for you, then you carry it by the glass. But it can't hurt you. Just do it by the bottle.
Yeah.
If you go, "Hey, we got these 4 wines by the bottle. Here they are. You want a bottle? We'll crack it open. Here's your bottle." Like, why not?
Yeah.
And carry some really good wine for you. Pair it and say, "Hey, well, this cab's gonna be great with this or that." But like, people. I mean, wine and cigars are so good.
I agree.
Like so good. And my dangerous thing is when you have like that crisp, dry white that's really refreshing with like a cigar. You definitely drink it way too fast.
Oh, 100%.
Like way too fast.
Yeah.
It's like having like a good old fashioned or a Sazerac or something. You go, "Oh shit.
Yeah.
I just finished that Sazerac in
I need another
like 5 minutes. I need another one." You go,
Yep.
"Oh, I've been here an hour. I've already had 4 Sazeracs." And that's why when Rudy and I go to like cigar bars, I'm like, "I'm gonna do a drink neat and I'll sip on it." Because if I have a really good old fashioned and you guys make great cocktails, like then you're like, "Oh shit. I'm $60 in. I've been here for an hour just in old fashions." Like, that's trouble. Good for you guys, but like,
it happens.
Neat or a dry red wine. A dry, you'll sip on that like you would a bourbon.
Exactly.
And have that. But like, you get those like I drink a lot of like dry Italian whites with like a cigar like charcuterie, like Italian meats and cheeses and bread and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And so you're thirsty, and that white is going down really quick, and you're like, "Oh shit."
Oh.
There went the bottle of that Italian white. Oh, yeah. Well, my wife gave me shit last night. We wanted to make risotto, and you make risotto with like a dry white wine. We didn't have any. She goes, "Well, if you didn't drink the bottle every time you cooked, we'd have some." I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah.
She's
You're right.
part of it. You
like
got to do it with it.
Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Me.
But yeah, you're right. Like, you're not wrong, but you're right. Like what I do when I cook, if I open up that bottle, and I'm like, "Oh, now I have a bottle to drink."
The bottle for here.
I'm gonna drink it while I cook, and I'm gonna drink it while we eat, and I'm gonna drink it when we watch Netflix afterward. Like whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, it goes down way too easy.
Well, and I know one of the things that I have a hard time with on wines are the nitrates. A lot of the preservatives that kill me. And I know a lot of you were talking about this before, a lot of the Italian, French wines don't have that.
No.
I want to get into some of those. So I may have to see if you guys have something like
if you
that
talk
here,
if you talk to your distributors, there's that label. I forget the label on it, but there's actual label they put on all the Italian wines. That's like, this is imported from Italy with 0 preservatives on it. And it's that quality control they do over there.
Yeah.
And you buy that stuff in, and again, like it's a really good product. They bring it in, you have it, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to worry about it. So, yeah.
Well, cool. Anything else?
I don't think so,
You guys
man.
have any other events or anything you want to talk about before we
No,
sign off here?
We got HVC. I mean, the Rocky Patel train again in October. Like, definitely buy a ticket, be on that thing. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
I think it will be the biggest train event we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
And honestly, it's going to be selling out pretty soon. So
The VIP,
get on the website and
yeah,
do
the
it.
VIPs. If you go on rudyshop.com and you look at the VIPs, I think we have like 4 left at this point. Like literally 4. We limit that to 20 people for the VIP. So if you want a VIP ticket, grab it now.
Yeah.
And then after that, the box tickets and the base ticket, they'll be there. So I think we want to get this.
First class ticket is really nice because you're going to be next to the VIP car.
Yeah.
Both cars are really, really special. So there really won't be much difference in the train ride experience
Yeah.
between the VIP and the first class.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'd say buy tickets now. Obviously, I'm not sure what the day of plans are. So if you listen to the podcast and you're coming up to Fort Wayne on that Saturday, there's a chance there might be like a pre-party on Friday, kind of like the Tat Train. I'm not sure yet. We are doing like a Friday night thing out at Joseph DeQuee on that Friday. So Joseph DeQuee is this farm to fork amazing restaurant on the southwest side of Fort Wayne, in the outskirts, called Roanoke.
Okay.
And we do.
Oh yeah, Roanoke.
Yeah, and it's an amazing event. We're doing a bourbon cigar dinner out in the farm the night before.
Nice.
So you come out, you eat this Wagyu beef cooked
So
over
that's
a
where
fire.
you got the Wagyu
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
So it's an amazing event the night before. So I'm not sure if Rocky's going to be at that or if he's going to be here. But chances are, if he's traveling in, he'll either be here or there the night before, and then we'll have like the day of event on that Saturday. So
Awesome.
it should be a killer thing. On that, it's that HVC next week, and then they release the Espinosa cigar. Like, that's kind of our fall.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Which sounds short, but it's really fucking busy.
I can't
Yeah,
wait to
it's
see
a
it that
really
way,
busy
so-
couple months.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, good.
And we
good
need
to see,
we
man.
need to come down to your guys' place and just fucking
Yeah, man.
hang out.
Yeah,
Like, we
come hang
enjoy.
out with us, yeah.
Rudy and I just like going to those places because we don't have to fucking work for like
Yeah.
a minute. Like,
And nobody knows who we are.
yeah, we just walk in. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out for a minute. Like, that's always fun for us.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like I know you guys are in the same boat that I am. It's like I want to support other businesses doing things like we like to do. It's all about selling product, making money, and all that too. But it really is about the experience. When you come here, you're gonna have a great experience. You're gonna really love the people that are working here. You're gonna get a good experience. Beautiful patio outside. I mean, my God, summers out here have to be just popping.
They are.
Fall's probably even better.
Well, it's all after the Tin Caps. Like, we had such a slamming weekend. We had music this weekend. We had yesterday after the Tin Caps game. We were packed all day yesterday. Like, and again, it comes and flows. Like, you go through the winter and you're steady,
Yeah.
and then like, you get kind of bored, and then like, the minute summer hits, you're like, oh shit, like it's a madhouse, and then it's gone,
Yeah.
and then it's gone, and you
Yeah.
go, oh, wait till next summer. So it's a headache when you're involved in it. In the middle of it, you're running around, and then it ends, and you go, oh,
Oh, I miss it.
I miss it. Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
do. Like, it's
You do.
like you do. Like, yeah, sure. Do I want to go cut and light cigars for 10 people on night that have never smoked before? Like, that's a headache at a time.
It is.
But you miss those people come November, and you go, oh yeah, we had a really good November. And so,
Yeah.
like, for us at least, like the member events, the other random things we do, and the dinners and stuff like that, like, hold us over in the wintertime.
Yeah.
But the summer is fun.
So if you live in the Fort Wayne area, stop in here, come in here. I mean, obviously there's still memberships available for the private lounge. It could be your local lounge, but just get in here. You'll have a great time. I mean,
Yeah,
every
heck
time I come up here, I have a blast. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah,
I'm gonna go check
Well-
out this patio.
yeah. So where can they find you guys on social media?
So rudyshop.com is our website. I think Rudys_shops our Instagram, and like
Okay.
Rudy Shop is our Facebook. So
Okay.
find all out there. If you go to our website, rudyshop.com, our Instagram feed's on there, our Facebook's on there. So rudyshop.com has everything.
Yeah.
You'll see tickets for the train. You'll see stuff you can buy that we ship every day
Yeah.
out there. So if you want tabernacles or warheads or
Yeah.
rare tat stuff, the books, any of that shit, it's all out there.
Yeah, get on the website because they do ship daily, and you can find stuff shipped from here and not from out of state.
Yes.
That's what we want to see. So,
Heck yeah.
where can they
Love
find
it.
you, Mike?
You can find me at both the visuals, Spencer Lee's, and don't forget to follow the Final Third podcast. It's like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar, and we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us, or us coming and hanging out with you.
Yeah, thanks
This
for
has
having
been
us.
a great time. So we will see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.